Welcome to Truth Uncompromised. I am your host, Rhonda. Join us every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Truth is peace. Truth is justice and freedom to love, live, and be. Music provided by SourceVibrations.com. All right, family. Welcome to the Truth Uncompromised show. I am your host, Rhonda, and tonight is Thursday, September 1st. So we have a great show planned for you tonight. I am very excited. We got a lot of stuff to go over tonight. So I'm going to bring Sis Divinity in. Sis, you there?
I am. Hi, sis. How are you?
I'm well, beloved. I know you've kind of been under the weather. Thanks for joining us.
That song, People Get Ready, that was so appropriate.
I know. I love Curtis Mayfield, one of the greats for sure. Mm-hmm. So we're happy to have you back. So, Brother Wendell was talking crap. Talking about who told you to take a vacation. So, you're going to hear from him when I'm about to bring him on. So, Brother Wendell, get ready. So, let me bring him in. Brother Wendell?
Yeah.
How would you mean, yeah?
I know, right?
Okay, like I'm one of his partners that just call him up. Yeah.
I do it like that sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, the nerve, yeah. How you doing?
I'm still here. Old country bumpkin's still around.
Well, give me a big down.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw. You've been on vacation for 2 weeks.
He was sure talking mess. I'm like,
you ought to be saying I've been on vacation for 2 weeks.
He a hot mess. I'm like, oh boy, here we go.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm back. Hopefully for good this time, Wendell. It's been
good to have you. Good to have you back.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, I know that, Brother Wendell, I've been kind of shaking my head all this week after you straight up blew my wig back on the little ISIS stuff. And, we tied that bloodline together. I've been marinating on that all week. I'm like,
it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You know what we can do about that.
That's just straight deep. That's straight deep. But I did find out, to show you how things work out, I ran across 2 YouTube clips. I'm going to play them tonight that talk about the giants and actually the giants on this land. So I'm going to bring those clips in, and then I know I've been talking about it for the last couple weeks, that one clip that I had played in the show before regarding Noah and how they thought that Noah was a fallen angel. So I finally found that clip again, and I want to reshare it with the family because it perfectly ties in. Since, although we finished up Noah's story last week, well, I guess week before last, but I did want to bring the family, I kept promising you all that video, so we'll go over that, because now we're on Horus's life. So if you missed last week, I would recommend that you go and pick up the archives. It's out on YouTube now, and when he was going through that bloodline, y'all, and tying to the fallen angels and who they married, and then the offspring from that the offsprings, plural, from that union. So remember, the rule is, according to all of the ancient texts, that's including the Bible, the Book of Enoch, and any of those, the fallen angels who mated and had children with the women on earth, they called it in the Bible the daughters of men, but in the Lost Book of Enki, we came to learn that those were the earthlings. Those offspring are known as the Nephilim. So that's all I'm going to say, family, because when we went through that bloodline and started naming, like, some of the Egyptian folks that we're very familiar with, and you're like, oh, my goodness. So then you link up who's a giant, who's a Nephilim, but it's all tied to the same bloodline, and it's based on who married whom. So it's really, really deep. So when you get a chance, check out last week. So we're going to take it from there. So we're going to jump right into the news because I know we got a lot to go over tonight. So as usual, there are several things jumping off. So in the financial news, quite a bit of talk going on once again. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been seeing a lot of talk about currency. So one particular article came out of RT News stating that, and this came out yesterday, and it's Nobel winner Stiglitz is saying that independent Scotland should have its own currency and avoid the euro. And so it's saying Nobel Prize winning economist Joseph Stiglitz has advised the Scottish National Party to abandon the British pound and avoid joining the euro if Scotland wins independence. So those not familiar with that story, the Scots, part of Scotland has been trying to break away from the whole UK thing for a minute now. Okay, so it's back on the table for them again. So dude is like, yeah, well, why y'all putting that up for vote to become your own independent nation, you also better make sure you don't get tied up in their currency. So don't get tied up in the euro or the British pound. So Stiglitz, who sits on the Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon's Council of Economic Advisors, has suggested Scotland create its own free-floating currency if it leaves the United Kingdom. Such a move would enable Scotland to stimulate the economy and lower its growing deficit, he claimed in an interview with BBC Radio Scotland. Official SNP policy during the Scottish independence campaign in 2014 was for Scotland to use the British pound as currency in the event of independence, a plan deemed impossible by then Chancellor George R. Osborne. They wanted to say that we could move from the current economic arrangements to another one while keeping our currency and keeping the other forms of institution. I think in hindsight, that may have been a mistake, Stiglitz said. The Columbia University professor, who has also advised Bill Clinton and Jeremy Corbyn, cited Iceland's strong economic recovery after the 2008 crash as an example of what a country in control of its own currency can do. So those that followed Iceland's situation, they kicked the Rothschilds' ass out of their nation. They kicked them out and locked up a bunch of folks. So after they did that, they started flourishing. Okay, so I know, right? Good for them. So he issued a strong warning against Scotland being teetered to a single currency by joining the euro. If you were forced to join the euro as a price of joining the EU, then I think I would have strong second thoughts, he said. So that is pretty powerful stuff, because now people are coming out boldly saying that they don't want to be tied to the euro and they don't want to be tied to the British pound. So that is yet another indication that those currencies are a done deal, and then other nations are waking up. So the trends that I have been seeing is that those countries that want to break away from the dollar, break away from the euro and the pound, they either want to go back to their own currency, or they want to have their own currency and peg it against the yuan, or partner with some type of basket of currencies that involves the yuan and Russia's currency. So it seems that trend is continuing. And so another article, and I'm not going to read it, but I'll just reference it, that came out in Bloomberg today is talking about how the currency markets are struggling to stay above a certain threshold. And when you get deep into the article, it kind of gives the breakdown of how the U.S. is the top currency, the euro is second to that, and I think Japan is third. Now, here's the thing. We've discussed that several times on this show. The only reason that the U.S. remains the top currency, and when you hear the financial world saying the dollar is strong, it's been heading up, that's only because all the other nations are dumping it. Okay? So when you hear that the dollar is strong, that's why. Everybody is dumping it. So meaning if they're holding dollars, they're getting out of it. They're cashing out of it and either buying gold, and I heard that the gold market, that's kind of becoming limited. So they're either buying, now they're trying to buy silver, and at one point silver had even ran a shortage. Or they're just using their own or buying up their own currency and just sitting on the sidelines. So that article, in one breath, how they always talk with a double-edged tongue. One breath, they're saying the currency markets are struggling, but then they try to use psychological warfare, saying, oh, no, but, you know, the dollar's doing great. No, it only appears that it's doing great is because everyone around the world is dumping it. Okay? So that's just another indication on what we've talked about watching those particular currencies and how nobody wants really anything to do with the dollar. Nobody wants anything to do with the euro. Okay, so another financial article that I saw is that, and this just came hot off the press right before we jumped on air, and I kind of just shook my head. Deutsche Bank refuses clients' demand for physical gold.
Wow.
So let me sigh, because I'm going to have to struggle getting through this, because, you know, Deutsche Bank straight disgusts me. So Deutsche Bank, just for those who haven't been keeping up with it, that is a bank out of Germany, actually their largest bank, and they are insolvent. So meaning they're dead-ass broke. We have reported on that many times on this show. They're pretty much struggling to keep the lights on. So they've been selling gold. Okay, now I've been talking about this for 2 years on this show. I advise people, and not that I'm a financial advisor in any way, but in my 2 cents, I said 2 years ago, if I was to buy gold, you cannot just give me no piece of paper and tell me, yeah, your gold sitting in a, we gonna hold on to it, but here's your piece of paper. Now, I don't want that damn piece of paper. I want my physical gold in my hand, okay? And based on the shenanigans that they've been pulling, selling fake gold, I'm going to test the shit. So I'm no different than, and I know y'all going to crack up at me, the people that sell cash for gold on TV. When you go to them and you turn in your gold, they test that shit right there. You ain't finna give them no plated stuff. So same thing. If I were to buy physical gold, I want the physical gold in my hand, and I'm finna test it. Okay, so I said that 2 years ago. All right, so Deutsche Bank had the audacity. Here's this article, and this is coming out of RT News. They just posted this a couple hours ago. Clients of Germany's biggest bank who have invested in the exchange-traded commodity extra gold are facing problems when they want to obtain physical gold, according to German analytic website godmantrader.de. Extra gold is a bond on the Deutsche Börse commodities market, and Deutsche Bank is a designated sponsor. On the website, Extra Gold says its clients have the right for physical delivery of gold. Physically backed, the issuer uses the proceeds from the issue of the extra gold to purchase gold. The physical gold is held in custody for the issuer in the Frankfurt vaults. That's this bull y'all. In the Frankfurt vaults of Clearstream Banking AG, a wholly owned subsidiary of Deutsche Börse. In order to facilitate the delivery of physical gold, the issuer holds a further limited amount of gold on an unallocated weight account with UnCONPromeyezed AG and company, says Extra Gold. However, despite claims that every virtual gram of gold is backed by the same amount of physical gold, clients have been refused the precious metal upon demand. According to Godmo Trader, its readers sought physical delivery of his holdings of extra gold. For this, he approached, as instructed by the German Börse document, his principal bank, Deutsche Bank. However, he was told that the service, and they put the service, y'all, in quotes, the service was no longer available for reasons of business policy.
Wow.
The article went on to say it's not yet clear whether other banks are still delivering gold through Extra. Okay, so it just goes on to give the amount of gold, what the price of gold and all of that is. So basically, you all, there you go. We told you 2 years ago that if you were going to go down that route to start buying gold, don't trust these doggone folk. If you can't get it in your hand, don't be bothered with them, because, otherwise it's a Ponzi scheme. So meaning they'll sell you on paper that you have X amount of physical gold, but they really don't have it. Okay, and there you go. Deutsche Bank, one of the banks that we know is in trouble, but it's supposed to be a main player bank. It's not giving these just regular investors, not giving them their physical gold. So just pay attention, family. So I found that article real interesting. The only other thing, well, I'll pause in case one of you all wanted to put something on it. If not, we will move along. Okay. And so another article came out day before yesterday off of RT. Banks getting ready for economic nuclear winter. Weak corporate earnings, a banking crisis, and Brexit vote are forcing banks to prepare for the worst-case scenario in the second half of the year, according to CNBC, quoting a major lender. Banks are preparing for an economic nuclear winter situation. This could mean triggering Article 50, a referendum in other European nations, leading to a breakup of the euro.
Wow.
I'm going to read that again because we talked about that. This could mean triggering Article 50, a referendum in other European nations, leading to a breakup of the euro, or sterling hitting below $1.20 or lower. The banks are ready for anything now, the source in the bank told the broadcaster. After the United Kingdom voted to leave the European Union in June, there have been talks. A similar referendum may be held in France, the Netherlands, and other countries. Okay, so in other words, folks are jumping ship. They want to get out of that European Union, which is tied to that euro. And as we just talked about just a couple minutes ago, people want to go back to their own currency system. Okay, so markets have uncertainty, and the events this year have unfortunately created a lot of mystery around what is going to happen next, the source added. And it says, shares in the biggest banks have been plummeting. Deutsche Bank has lost almost 45%. Now, didn't we just read an article before where Deutsche is jipping people out of gold?
Yes.
Go figure. Credit Suisse has lost 41%, and the Royal Bank of Scotland went down 35% in 2016. Uncertainty and volatility has been spotted in all areas of the economy, from mining to car production. By far, the Brexit has been the biggest uncertainty on the global financial agenda, but analysts urge companies to keep on working despite the unclear future and make steps to de-risking and simplifying their businesses. I think the main problem for the second half of the year is the uncertainty caused by Brexit, though that's likely to persist for 2 years or more, so I suspect companies are likely to roll up their sleeves and get down with business. Khalif, senior analyst at Hargreaves Lansdowne, told CNBC. So there you have it, folks. They are coming out and admitting that the banks are getting ready for the ish literally to hit the fan. We knew when the UK voted to come up out of that euro, we knew the other nations were going to start doing it as well.
Wow, the domino effect.
Yep.
Wow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I got something for you, Brother Wendell. We're going to make this the last one on the financial end. This is one on the ports, and it came out of the Wall Street Journal. When was this article? It was a couple of days ago. I don't know why they don't put dates on their stuff. But the title of it, At Ports, a Sign of Altered Supply Chains. So, come on here, all of these doggone ads. Sorry about that. Okay, it said this summer, dock workers, truckers, and railroads geared up for the surge of retail goods passing through U.S. ports. That hasn't occurred. Imports are flat at major seaports on both coasts, heading into peak shipping seasons. The stretch late summer and early fall, when retailers usually load up on imported toys, clothing, and other merchandise to sell to holiday shoppers. If the trend holds, it will be the second year in a row without a traditional peak. Economists say subdued activity on the docks is a sign of how retailers are slimming down their supply chains as more of their customers shop online. Bull S, but okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Right, because, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because what difference does it make if I order online or not? If the stuff comes from overseas, exactly. But I'm really lump. I'm not supposed to pick that up. Yeah. Okay, all right, whatever. Companies such as Target Corp, Lowe's, and JCPenney are pivoting away from maintaining stores brimming with merchandise. Instead, now you said this, Wendell, you said this months ago. Instead, they're using more goods in warehouses where they can quickly ship to stores or fulfill online orders. You said that you thought what they were doing was moving merchandise from one store to another.
Hey,
I remember
is.
You saying that a couple months ago. So there you have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it says it is a shift.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you pinned that one because I know you watched that website that tracks the activities of the ports, and you said you didn't see anything. You just saw the same. What do you call it? What's it called? The little
the same vessel in 100 different locations. Not the container, the whole vessel.
Oh damn! I thought it was a container, so the whole vessel.
It was a whole vessel. One vessel named in 100 different places. That's impossible.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So when you, and based on what you saw, the activity you that they could be doing is using existing merchandise and moving it across the country. Peg that one. Good job. So it is a shift that has caught the transportation sector off guard. Ports from New York to Georgia to California have billions of dollars to upgrade equipment and deepen harbors to handle an unexpected flood of imports that has yet to materialize. Shipping lines are scrapping vessels and cutting back service on unprofitable routes. Trucking companies bought tens of thousands of new big rigs as recently as 2015, many of which sit idle today. My drivers say, boy, we've never seen it so slow, said Fred Otterbein, who heads the Savannah, Georgia office of port trucking company First Coast Logistics, Inc. It may be the new normal. U.S. ports are on pace to handle 2.2% more imports this year, the slowest rate of growth since 2011, according to Hackett Associates, LLC, a consulting firm. In July, when shipping volumes typically start their peak season ramp up, imports fell as the nation's two busiest port complexes in Southern California and New York. The National Retail Federation estimates that August and September will continue the trend, with imports volumes down slightly for both months from the same period last month. So I'm not going to read the rest of the article. I think you all get the gist of it. Brother Wendell pegged that one very well, and we told you all the reason why that activity has slowed down, and it ties back to that currency, what we just talked about. Nobody wants the dollar. They want to settle in either their own currencies or stronger currencies like the yuan. So we've, over the past, year or so now, Brother Wendell, we've been telling you of reports that we've seen that some of the vessels would come in and get ready to settle up. And if they didn't have the proper currency of choice, they would turn their shit right back around and keep it pushing. So now they're to the point that they're not even bringing anything in. And we've seen, particularly William Mount has videotaped on the Washington port, the Washington State port. And, I mean, it was literally nothing. He's done it several times. You saw no vessels moving in and out, no type of activity at all. So now they're starting to admit that, publicly admit rather, that shipping has slowed down when we've been telling you that all along. Number one, you have the Baltic Dry Index, which tells you the shipping activity of raw materials. That's been the lowest it's been in history. It even hit a lower point than it did during the 2008 crash. And then you had Brother Wendell that was physically looking at the vessels and saw how you had that same vessel number showing up multiple times at the same time at different ports. So there you have it, family. Get ready, get prepared. You're definitely witnessing a change from the Western economy to an Eastern economy. So they're going to starve them out. The U.S. think that they can still dominate the world. It's not going to happen anymore because they are backing them in an economic corner. Okay. Yeah, so I will yield in case you all want to put something on it. If not, we're going to keep it moving.
I wonder what the U.S. court's going to do when the dollar is dead. What are they going to deal with?
Yeah, I've heard, that's actually a good question, sis. I've heard a theory that the U.S. court will just basically sit isolated and will only be able to do business with their fiat within our borders or with the euro. And as we're seeing, or with the yen is Japan's raggedy currency. But as we was talking earlier, everybody's trying to get out the euro. Plus, they don't make anything. What the hell do Europe make? Nothing.
Noise.
It's going to be interesting.
Exactly. Noise. That's about all. They don't make nothing. So, and the Japanese yen, it's in trouble also because it's pegged to the dollar, and they allowed the U.S. court to bankrupt them. And I mean, Japan used to make a bunch of stuff, but they don't really make too much stuff from a manufacturing perspective as they used to do. So that's going to be a sad state of event.
Yes, it is.
That, we're not going to, nobody wants to do business with us per se. So they're going to have to do something. Now, I've heard the theory, which sounds about right to me, that what's going to happen is, and this was based on Jim Willey, that the U.S., our standard of living is going to drastically decrease. So meaning that all of those manufacturing jobs and the quote, what they call lower skill jobs or low paying jobs are going to come back over this way. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Already here. They already here, been here.
That's true. That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. So, yeah, essentially we would be swapping places with some of the other nations that they considered not
world.
some. I don't know if we'll get third. Well, if they keep sitting up on their ass, not wanting to do right, it's gonna get to third world status.
We already third world. It just glossed over real good.
That's true. It's just glossed over real good. So yeah, it might be third world status. Absolutely.
Oh.
Absolutely. So great question, sis. Very, very good question. So on the things that make you go, we have a couple of things jumping off. First of all, the weather has been off the chain. We talked about the weather a little bit last week. We talked about that storm that was coming through in on the East Coast. And so I've been seeing on the news this week, and they showed an aerial view from space. You literally have two big hurricane storms on both sides of the planet. One over here with us, and then the other on the other side of the planet. And so Florida is getting hit hard with some rain. They showed where the East Coast is going to get pummeled. I saw right before we jumped on the air that an earthquake, I'm not sure if it hit already. I think it hit somewhere off the coast of Australia. So the weather continues to be very, very volatile across the planet. So that's something that we still want to keep our eyes on. Like we said, some people are saying that it may be weather warfare, so meaning that the U.S. court, because their asses are broke and nobody's putting up with their shenanigans anymore, some people are saying that they are setting off weather warfare technology, okay, like HARP and all of that, et cetera, and then in response, Russia and China and them sends it right back to us. So that's one of the theories that's out there. The other one is, of course, what we talk about every week is because of the astrological changes that's coming into play, or the cosmic changes coming into play with Nibiru solar system here in our solar system, and that magnetic pool is causing a lot of these weather changes as well. Okay, so we'll just have to keep paying attention to the weather, but it is certainly getting out of control here lately. Okay, so the other thing that I saw, and I got this off of Facebook, it was Sis Lexmi, very, very interesting, and this came from a website called Marrakesh Society. And it was basically talking about a sci-fi series called Defiance. Yeah. And it introduced Moors as an alien race known as Olmec, O-M-E-C-S. Right. And so it says, Episode 1, Season 3 of Defiance introduced a new race known as Olmec, O-M-E-C-S, quite similar to Olmec. In this fantasy world, the Olmecs have purple skin and wear turbans like Moors. In the show, the Olmec developed on the planet Olmec, possessing technology long before the other Vulcan races. Every 76 years, their planet will come into the range of other Vulcan worlds, and the Olmec would raid them, collecting their other Vulcans to be used as slaves, sexual playthings, and eventually food. At some point, they were conquered by the Volgs, but a few of them survived and made the journey to Earth. They are considered devils and enchanters by the other Vulcan races, and are widely feared for their predatory natures. So I'm not going to read the rest of it. So I'm probably going to check out 1 or 2 episodes of that. But I just found it very funny that once again, sci-fi is the ones that always put out there kind of what they always take it from what we're studying now, all of the ancient texts. So that's another example of them knowing what went on according to the ancient text, but right. That is not what is taught mainstream-wise. So obviously that screams that they are talking about the Moors as being an alien race. So I thought that was very, 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 very interesting.
Yeah, because they called themselves canceling at one time and brought it back, didn't they?
Oh, really? See, I wasn't hip to it at all.
Me either, but once she had posted it on Facebook, I decided to, kind of check into it.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah, they had canceled it sometime in October of last year, and then it says Defiance returns, premiere release date, and all that stuff is scheduled. So...
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to straight check that out. I'm like, oh, really? Nah. So I'm gonna check out the first episode and, see how closely if they're tying into any of the ancient texts. I'm sure they gotta be. So I'll update the fam once I'm able to check out 1 or 2 episodes. Okay, so the last article out of Things That Makes You Go, it says alien speaking. Mysterious signals from sunlight star intrigue astronomers. Now, this came out August 30th on RT. The astronomy community is abuzz over a strong signal that might just be from aliens trying to establish contact with Earth. The signal indicates that should they exist, they could be dwelling on a sun-like star some 95 light years away. The star has been identified as HD 164595, located in the constellation Hercules. It is a star of 0.99 solar mass and estimated to have an age of 6.3 billion years. There is at least one planet in its system called HD 164595b and is about the same size as Neptune. In fact, it is referred to as a warm Neptune, orbiting its star every 40 days. The signal that the astronomical world is so concerned with now was first detected in May 2015 by Russians with aid of the Ratan 6000 radio telescope at a facility in the Republic of Karachi, not far from the Georgian border. It had a wavelength of 2.7 centimeters and amplitude of 750 millijansky, a unit of measure specifically used in radio astronomy. Researchers are puzzled no less than they are excited. It can't be ruled out that the signal was coming from a radio beacon built by extraterrestrial civilization. To theorize on the possible contact, they used the so-called Karadesh scale, one of the ways to measure an alien society's technological advancement based on how much energy it has at its disposal. Working out the strength of the signal, the researchers say that it came from an isotropic beacon. It would be a power possible only for a Kardashian Type 2 civilization. If it were a narrow beam signal focused on our solar system, it would be of a power available to a Kardashian Type 1 civilization. So my question is, how the hell they ranking these civilizations. I thought it wasn't no life form out there.
Yeah. I think I remember seeing that article too.
Yeah, so how you going to rank how, based on how strong the signal is, what type of technology they going to have? Well, if it ain't no life form out there, how the hell you know to rank something? See how they be on some bull mess?
Mm-hmm.
However, this cannot so far be scientifically proven. There have been no subsequential signals tracked to HD 16495 detected in more than 15 months since it was recorded. We can't claim the detection of an extraterrestrial civilization from this observation, Gilster said. What we can say is that the signal is interesting and merits further scrutiny. Okay, so I'm not going to read the rest of it because, you know, now they starting to double talk because you done already set up there and ranked it as in Civilization 2. So whatever, y'all. So, so there you have it, folks. Every other week we are discovering an article, either them hinting about another planet, Earth-like planet found, or another solar system found altogether. So they are not putting that stuff out there for the health of it. They are definitely giving you clues and getting you prepped for something big. So we are going to stop there. We did have more on political news, but we got so much stuff to go over tonight, and I want to get into some of them clips that I am going to stop the news, and we're going to jump into the topic tonight. So, Sis or Brother Wendell, did either one of you have anything you wanted to put on the news before we move on?
I just wonder if anybody will watch the moon for the rest of last week.
Yeah, let's talk about the moon, because
that thing was on the chain.
In my little defense, I downloaded this app. I love this app. So anybody, you can download it on your phone. It's called Skyview. And so you can literally point it up to the sky, and then it will show you where the other planets are. Now, me and the moon have had an issue here over this last little year, and especially over these last little couple of months, because I don't know where the hell it's going to show up. So last night, I said, well, I know we're going to be on the air tomorrow night, so let me go on and search for the little moon. It was cloudy, so I couldn't physically see it with my eyes, but I picked up the app. I couldn't find it.
Couldn't find the moon?
No. Now, I know where it's supposed to be based on the time. It wasn't damn in that spot. So I don't know where the hell it was. Now, that was last night.
She disappeared after, was it Sunday afternoon? I got
Wait a minute. See, I'm just straight trying to restrain myself from MFing and SBing. So you telling me you have not been able to find it?
No, I got pictures of it. The last pictures I was able to get of, I think, it was Saturday or Sunday one, and it did some things. It was a sure enough trip.
Oh my goodness!
At 9:30 in the morning, the sun was about, I would say, if you're looking at a ruler from 1 to 12, it was about 12. But the moon was higher than it was, but about 10 to 15 degrees to the right. Way on up there, you could see it just as clear. Now, about, I think it was a little after 2 o'clock, the moon had moved on toward the west, but it was even still higher than the sun, but it had turned upside down.
Oh, hell no.
I got pictures of it, yeah.
Wow.
And if you can picture the crest of the moon, a quarter moon crest, At 9:30 in the morning, it was standing up straight like a left crest, right? 2 o'clock in the afternoon, that crest was upside down.
Wow.
That's deep.
Now, I'm gonna ask this question: have anybody ever heard somebody say that the moon does not rotate?
Yes.
Yes,
I have. They lie. As a matter of fact, I can send you the pictures.
Dang, I'm like, I do not know where the hell this moon is. I straight gives up. I don't know where it's been. I don't know where it's going to show up.
Now, I ran across something on Facebook dealing with the sky. And I didn't have a date on it, but check your email and look at this thing.
Okay, let me go. I'm glad you brought up the moon, because I purposely looked for your boy last night, and I couldn't find him, so I don't know where the hell he was located. Okay, so let me see. Okay, I'm bringing it up. Okay. So this funny-looking cloud thing.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
Where's this located?
I don't know where it is. I ran across that on somebody posted on a Facebook page. I don't know what that is or where it is.
Oh my goodness.
And see, you know that I don't know if either one of you have watched the movies The Avengers.
I mean, Mother says.
Avengers.
Oh.
With
right,
the superheroes.
Yeah.
Okay. So it tripped me out in one of the last 3 ones that Samuel L. Jackson was in the spacecraft that floats right in our atmosphere or whatever. And why the little thing they showed where they could cloak it using clouds. And when I saw that, I said, first time I saw, I wasn't able to back it up. I said, I didn't see what I think I saw. And then when I was able to watch it on my own where I could back it up, I said, no, the hell they didn't. They showed you how they can cloak this stuff.
Wow.
In clouds. So maybe that's what that is, Brother Wendell. A lot of people have been reporting in the sky, them clouds, and it's so obvious because the clouds are like out of place. Because the one that clip that you just sent me, that cloud was hauling ass and was blinking lights and all of that. So that's probably some type of craft that's cloaked. So some are saying that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
On this same page, it was dated July the 19th. Now this somebody working at an airport videoed this, and what it is, it's a something that came in our atmosphere. And it's shaped like a teardrop and got a long tail on it. They filmed this thing for like 25 seconds.
Wow.
So it's no telling. I've heard that that's them cloaking stuff. It could be them, meaning the alphabet boys. They really have this advanced technology, which I think they got passed to them from an alien civilization, but that's yet another story. So I've heard that it's them using that particular technology, or it's folks other extraterrestrials or whatever coming into our atmosphere with this advanced technology. So I've heard both theories, but nonetheless, you're starting to see more and more videos like that. And once again, they showed you in the little sci-fi situation in Avengers how that aircraft could cloak, and it cloaked by using the clouds.
All right. I just sent you the other one. I think it's going to be the different one. I've been trying to send it, but it comes up being the other one. The one I just told you about, the teardrop shape.
Oh, okay.
Check your email and pull it up and look at that.
Okay, so I'm just, come on here. It is. Okay. Oh, that one didn't come up. Yeah, that one didn't come up. It just went back to that page. So.
Yeah, that was really weird. If you go to well, it's gonna be hard for you to find because you gotta scroll way down to find it. But
yeah, because I'm scrolling.
I'll try to send it again and see if it'll come through.
Okay.
That thing right there, something else.
Yeah, but I believe it because I've seen various other people post it as well, so it don't surprise me at all. It don't surprise me. It's, they always up to something.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, okay, we are going to move into the topic tonight. So we're going to pick back up, family. We're in our Creation Story Myths series. We are in part 30, and we're focusing on, Brother Wendell has been doing an excellent job focusing on the book, The Lost Book of Enki by Zachariah Sitchin. So we talked about a little bit earlier in the show a recap of last week, and it just totally blew my wig back because we literally went through the genealogy of the Anunnaki. So we started all the way back from Anu to his offspring, all the way down into we even touched on Noah and his family, and then when we got to Isis now, that's when I dropped the mic, y'all. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So now we're at the point in the story where we are focusing on Isis and Horus, specifically the story of Horus, and we also mirrored the story of Isis, Horus, and Osiris, and most of you all probably know this, but how that translated to the story of what they're calling in the Bible, who is it? Mary, Jesus, and Joseph. Okay, so that was very interesting, number one, for those that weren't familiar with that. But what blew my wig back was literally the genealogy of who Isis really is from a bloodline perspective, as well as Osiris. And then Brother Wendell had the notes on, based on what Isis really is from a bloodline, what that really makes Horus from a bloodline, and it just straight blew my wig back. So when you get an opportunity, go catch up on the archive. So, Brother Wendell, I ran across some information. I ran across two clips. One of them talked about the giants that were over on this land, because as you have been going through the Lost Book of Enki, we've been talking about the different locations in the different areas. Yeah. And you did an excellent job providing the maps. And so last week when we ran across the different maps that you showed us, and you showed us how the land mass was pretty much close together, which is known as Pangea. And so we were talking about that if, they were giants, then it really wouldn't have been no big deal for them to get from one location to another. Plus, they had advanced technology. So we were saying all that to say that they were all over this planet. It just didn't take place in what they're calling the Middle East. It took place all over this planet. And then we, broke down, and I had to give the Moors their credit, or the Moorish Science Temple their credit, because they've always said that all of this is, a maxim?
A maxim.
Okay. So, that map clearly showed that. It all made total sense by looking at those maps, and it also ties back to now we can enter and understand why we have the same artifacts over here, meaning the pyramids, the tributes to Isis, the tributes to Osiris, the tributes to Horus are on both continents. They're over here, and they're also over in Africa, because it's the same people, and really, when you boil down to it, it was the same landmass, okay? So I'm minding my business, and what shows up on my YouTube timeline, I ran across 2 videos, and one is called, it's from the YouTube channel Tyrone. They drop good stuff too.
Okay.
And the name of the video is America's Where the Giants Roam. So they didn't do any talking on this. It was all words. So I'll just give you a summary. It was a 2-minute clip. And so it basically was describing the graves that were being found on this land in the Americas. And when I say Americas, family, let's not just think of North America. You also have to think of South America. You also have to think of all of the Caribbean islands. You also have to think of Canada, which is the land of Cain. Okay, so basically it is saying that they have been finding skeletons 7 to 8 feet tall in the Americas, and they also found writings describing giants. Now this what blew my wig back. They found drawings with giants with 6 fingers.
Yes. Wow.
So anybody that doesn't know the significance of that 6 fingers, that is the trait of the Nephilim.
Yeah.
Okay, now they found these drawings of the 6 finger in Argentina. And it's in a cave called in a cave in Argentina called Cave of the Hand. Okay, and they use the description Pandagonia, and they were thought to be giants. Okay, and so then they used a term called polydactyly, and saying, which means having more than 5 fingers. That's what they call the scientific name of having 6 fingers. And then it went on to state that African Americans, more than any, because I looked up the term, y'all. So I went and looked up, when I saw this scientific term, polydactyly, describing folks that have 6 fingers, I said, let me go look up this damn term. So I went and looked it up, and it states in the term that African Americans, more than any other ethnic group, can inherit 6 fingers more than any other group. In most cases, this is not caused by a disease. And that was also a study done by, a description done by Penn State Hershey. Okay. So that was one of the videos, and again, that came off of the YouTube channel Tyrone Street, and the name of it is America's Where the Giant Roam. So I am going to, I'm sorry, sis, did you have something?
No, I was just saying Tyrone. I like that. That was interesting. Tyrone.
Yeah, and that channel, Tyrone, that particular channel, they drop a lot of good information. So they got a lot of metaphysics stuff out there. So just check them out in general. So this, yeah, on YouTube. Yeah, I've been subscribing to their channel for years. They have a lot of good drops out there, and a lot of the master teachers too. They have a lot of their clips there as well. So this next YouTube video, it's about 9 minutes. I'm going to play it, and it's about the giants in America. So it's called Nephilim Giants in North America. So I'm going to play this, and then we're going to come right back after this and then jump into the topic. So hold on, family.
All right.
So I started to investigate just the North American accounts of the giant skeletons that were found in the Ohio and Pennsylvania Valley. I'm talking everything from 10 to 12 foot tall guys found in copper armor. And the more I investigated, I found out it was a worldwide situation where we're talking some really big skeletons, all the way up to 36 feet tall.
If we only had basketball then, huh?
Well, I can tell you this, when some of these guys, some of the British giants, for instance, one guy specifically, listen to this, a guy by the name of William Joyce in the late 1800s, he could lift a ton dead weight, in other words, 2,000 pounds. And you're only talking about a guy that was 8 feet tall. So I think the situation that most people find in history is there are too many question marks. And when you're looking at the temples of the world, and you're looking at all of the, what would you say, the answers that are out there that seemingly are, swept under the rug, I think it becomes apparent that for some reason someone doesn't want the issue of giants brought up. And that's why I spent 3 decades dealing with it. And as you know, the book has got on the front cover a British explorer with 2 12-foot giants from Kashmir standing over him. Now, again, this was in the late 1890s, and as early as 1970, in the jungles of the Amazon, there have been actual reports of people running into very shy natives who are in excess of 9 feet tall.
How tall do you think the little guy is in the middle on your cover of your book, Genesis 6?
According to they claim he's right at 6 feet. When I got that from a group of people in London that have the only photos of these guys around. Also in the book, I have a picture of a 12'2" Irish mummy, and it's fascinating because later in the show we can get into the mummy issue. But the point that's fascinating is if you take guys that are all the way up to 36 feet tall, 20 feet tall. The Emperor of China had 2 15-foot guards. Charlemagne himself was surrounded by rather large individuals. We have a Roman emperor named Maximinius who was a giant himself. His wife's bracelet, George, would fit around his thumb. We're talking about people that are, we're talking about people with big egos, big appetites, and incredible strength. We're not talking about the medical situation that you see sometimes on the History Channel where they show giants as being these guys that don't live very long, obviously like Andre the Giant, who was a wrestler. Right. We're talking about guys with unbelievable strength, unbelievable knowledge, and unbelievable wisdom. On the website, I even show some of the Incan kings, I-N-C-A-N, Inca, from the Inca Empire, basically in the museums of Peru, that have 4 to 5 times the cranial mass of a standard human skull. So we're not only talking about big guys, we're talking about people with incredible intelligence, and we're talking about an answer that obviously classical anthropology and archaeology, these guys don't want to deal with this. I think it was David Hatcher Childress that coined the word Smithsonian Gate. In other words, a cover-up of history that's rather pronounced. And when you begin to dig, as I began digging over 30 years ago, you can find out that the reports of newspapers in America, of newspapers around the world. Interestingly enough, after I did the last show with Art, somebody went on the website and they sent me from Eastern Europe, they've already sponsored I guess you say an undertaking to go into some of the caves where they found a whole, basically, cavern of giant skeletons. And in the New Ancient American, which is a magazine that's put out in America, they found the most contemporary find. It's someplace in Desert Southwest, and it actually shows the pictures of the giants, shows the cave, etc. So basically, interestingly enough, too, is that when you look at this, you see that there is a very, very, how should I say, skittish archaeological base out there that doesn't even want to deal with this.
Well, do you think, Stephen, that these giants were regular offsprings of people, or that they popped up in a very unusual way, depending on the percent of population at the time?
Well, first of all, I believe that the reason I use Genesis 6, let me read this and then I'll comment.
All right.
Genesis 6, 1, 2, and 6 are kind of interesting because it gets into the whole alien, the whole Nephilim, the whole Zechariah, Sitchin, Anunnaki, but let me read it. It says this: "And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw that the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives, all of which they chose. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bore children unto them, the same became the mighty men which are of old, men of renown." Now, there are two opposing viewpoints on this. During about the 4th century A.D., the Catholic Church basically said, well, no, these were the sons of Seth. And the sons of Seth married the daughters of Cain, and out of good men marrying bad women came giants. We're talking about men, George, that had 6 fingers, 6 toes, and double sets of teeth. Now, that's kind of interesting because all through the digs in North America, especially in Catalina in California, Lompoc, where there's a prison in California, they found red-haired giants 10 to 12 feet tall, double sets of teeth, 6 fingers, 6 toes. You go to South America, and the Mayan god Shambhalum had 6 fingers, 6 toes. And so I believe there is a supernatural element, and then you've got writers who claim that we were created by the aliens, the Anunnaki, and I obviously I don't believe that. I believe that all the myths of history center around this one thing, that basically supernatural beings had sex with earth women and produced giants. And it's in the Bible, it's in Genesis 6, Jude 6, 2 Peter, but more than that, and in addition to that, it's all through history.
So you believe that these giants are the offspring of
fallen angels.
Fallen angels from way gone back.
Well, from way gone back. And
wow.
It gets into the interesting thing. You know, if we go into, let's say, Greek mythology, we've got satyrs, and satyrs was a goat-like body, a human torso, and ram's horns.
Yes.
We've got centaurs, head and torso of a man, lower half of a horse. Cyclops, giants with one eye in the center of the forehead. And by the way, 2 months ago in Indonesia, there were actual cyclopean skulls found, one eye, giant, and immediately the standard, if you will, anthropological community came out and said, oh, these are just basically calcified remains of a normal skull. We've got tritons, mermaids, minotaurs, chimeras or chimeras, and it's interesting because there's actually a patent now with the U.S. Patent Office that combines human DNA and animal DNA. So when we've got a supernatural element inserted into the equation of, in essence, fallen angels even having sex with animals, and by the way, this is ancient Sumerian text, it's ancient Babylonian text. This is something that is through history. It begins to explain a lot of where the myths came from.
Let's get into Genesis if we can, without the biblical and religious twist to it.
Sure,
but
I'm
really
talking about it from a historic aspect. Exactly, and let you interpret some of this for us, because it is there for people to read, and you've been able to pull that out when you have written about it in your book. But it is there, and it has gone on since the beginning of time here, hasn't it? It has, and you know, it's interesting because, again, you know, you have from just the Genesis account of these fallen angels having sex with earth women, producing, again, a race of incredible people. You know, everybody's heard of David and Goliath,
yes.
But what they don't know is that Goliath had, you know, 4 brothers, and these guys all had 6 fingers, 6 toes. There's a guy named Og, O-G, not a hard name to remember, and some scholars place him at 18 feet tall. So from the Genesis account in the Old Testament through all of the the historical accounts, through the different continents, whether you're dealing with South America, whether you're dealing with North America, the Europeans, the Asians, the Australians, the Greeks, everybody has got their records, their bones. And, interestingly enough, the Aztecs, and there was a lot of chronicling of the Aztecs by different Spaniards that followed, especially their priests that followed the conquistadors. And basically, the Aztecs said their entire civilization was built by giants. Tiwanaku in Bolivia, up by Lake Titicaca. The point is that they have fantastic architecture that still no one can explain. Baalbek, the giant cities of B-A-S-H-A-N, Bashan, which were called the cities of the giants. So I'm talking about a time period when there were some really big guys. And see, in classic anthropology, classic archaeology, this stuff is basically taboo. They won't deal with it. And it's fascinating because when you go even to 1905 in the Phoenix Gazette, there are actual full front page stories about a gentleman from the Smithsonian named Kincaid who actually found caverns with giant statuary from Egypt, etc. And when people have tried to investigate, David Hatch, Childress, and others, I mean, it's fascinating. They hit a dead wall. It's kind of...
All right, family. So that was called Nephilim Giants in North America, and that's from a YouTube channel called Vozy Pensamento. So VOZYPENSAMINTO. So did want to bring that to you because when I ran across it, I'm like, oh, that ties in perfectly on what we've been discussing.
Yeah, that's Steve Quayle. If you want to get on to some real information, listen to him. Just be ready to listen to somebody talk forever. That guy can talk.
Okay, so that was Steve Quayle that was breaking that down?
Yeah, that's Steve Quayle.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, I've heard of him too. I didn't recognize his voice. So okay, all right, great. So I'll to pull some more information from him as well. So okay, Brother Wendell, we're gonna turn it over to you to get into the Lost Book of Enki now. Sis Segment, she did text me, and because when I said I didn't see the moon, I'm glad she texted me. I wasn't crazy, and she said that it is. The reason I didn't see it is because it's the cycle of the new moon.
Yeah.
And in a new moon cycle, the moon will not be visible. I never knew that. I knew I didn't see your boy because I definitely looked and put that sky view up, and his behind wasn't out there.
Okay.
So thanks, sis, for that.
Yeah, but the way she was moving around, it fits right into that celestial balance because she was jumping around.
Wow. All right, then. All right, Brother Wendell, we'll turn it over to you.
What title are you with now?
We're in, I think we're still in the 11th tab.
Okay.
It's on page, I think, one, in part 2, page 1, I think it's 137. No, page 37. 37.
Okay.
Because I had to break that up in two pieces to send it.
Okay, yeah. So page 37. Okay.
Yeah, page 37, right there at the bottom. We start out after the link. You got two links right there on information on Horus.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. So we're ready whenever you're ready, brother.
All right. So now we went through Satu and Haran or Horus had their little fight. And now you got Marduk and Sarpanit that lost both sons. And they're looking for solace of comfort in the time they had another son by the name of Nabu, who is Nebo in the Bible. Let me see. The scripture pointing to that is Isaiah 46:1, Jeremiah 48:1.
Okay. Did you want us to read that?
Yeah. Go ahead, verify it.
41. And
got to verify it.
Jeremiah
46:1.
Jeremiah 40.
No. Jeremiah is 48:1.
48:1.
Yeah, and Isaiah 46:1.
I got Jeremiah 6.
Okay, so Isaiah 46:1. Okay, so let me do the Bible. You want to read Jeremiah first if you have it then?
Okay, Jeremiah 48:1. Against the Moab, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel. Woe to Nebo, but it is plundered. Oh, what is this? Kirjathaim is shamed and taken. The high stronghold is shamed and dismayed. So this is about Nebo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's it. 48:1.
Okay, so mine is Isaiah 46:1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All righty, and okay. Baal boweth down, Nebo stoopeth, their idols were upon the breast and upon the cattle, your carriages were heavy loading, they are burdened to the weary beast. Okay, so there's Nebo mentioned again.
Yeah. All right. Now I got this is from AbrahamPublications.com.
Mhm.
The name Nebo in the Bible. Nebo or Nabu was the Babylonian deity of wisdom and writing. His function and appearance seems to suggest some similarities to the later Roman god Mercury. Although this Nebo became an important figure in Babylon, it probably originated in the Semitic language area. There are several entities named Nebo in the Bible. The god Nebo is twice mentioned in the Bible, in Isaiah 46:1, Jeremiah 48:1, and there are other mentions of Nebo in the Bible. A town in Judah, which is in Ezra 2:29, which is possibly the same as the Nebo mentioned in Ezra 10 and 41. Although that Nebo may very well be a man with a lot of sons. A town near Jericho, which is in Numbers 32:2, which was near the eponymous Mount Nebo in the Abiram mountain range, probably also known as Pisgah. That's in Numbers 27:12-14 and Deuteronomy 34:1. Just before Moses died, God showed him the promised land from that mountain, which was Mount Nebo.
That's interesting. So he had a mountain named after him.
Yeah, that's the Mount Nebo they talk about in the Bible.
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
As a matter of fact, I think on some of those maps over in that particular area shows Mount Nebo.
Okay, interesting. So I'm gonna have to look your boy's little mountain up. That's interesting.
It's on one of those maps because I know those maps show pretty much everything in that area. I think we're gonna get to it. I think we're gonna get to a map later on that'll show it too.
Okay.
All right. Oh, while we're on this right here, a name in the Bible, I started looking for other names of Enki's sons that might be in the Bible.
Mhm.
Guess who's in there?
Oh Lord, who?
Nergal, Nergal. That's in the Bible. That name is in the Bible. And there's some more in there. There's some more names in there of his sons that are like variations in the spelling wise of those names. Jabil and who else was it? It wasn't English. Demuzi.
Wow.
And Demuzi, who is Tammuz, that name Tammuz was in there too.
So it's just riddled with those Sumerian names.
Yeah.
We just didn't know what we were looking at because, again, and I learned that from Brother Horace Butler, all they have to do is change the vowel in the name to throw us off. But, you know, once you know that that's what they do, you're able to link folk up as being the same person.
Yeah. Well, you know, Abraham is from Ur, which is down there in that Persian Gulf area. All right, let's move on. I didn't give you something to think about and go look at. All right. After the battle between Horus and Set, Enlil gathers his 3 sons to a council to discuss what was taking place. And these are the points he makes. In the beginning, the earthlings were made in our image and likeness. Now the Anunnaki offspring have become in the image and likeness of earthlings. It was Cain or Cain killing his brother, now a son of Marduk killing his brother. Number 2, for the first time, Anunnaki offspring raised an army from earthlings and placed in the land's weapons made from a metal. That which was an Anunnaki
secret.
which was a secret. Now, since the days of Alelu and Anzu challenging Anunnaki legitimacy, disruption and rule breaking by their Gigi continued. Point number 4, the beacon peaks, or the pyramids of Giza, are located in the domain of Marduk, and the landing place is held by the Gigi. Number 5, the Gigi are advancing towards the place of the chariots. Number 6, in the name of Satu, the Gigi will lay claim to all the heaven-earth facilities. So, Enlil see what's going on, so he let his family know what's going on so they can put together a plan. Now, after alerting his sons as to what was happening, Enlil proposed to them the secret establishment of an alternative heaven-earth facility. It will be located in the Nerda's land, beyond the oceans, in the midst of trusted earthlings. A, it will be the secret mission was entrusted to the Nerda, and B, in the mountain lands beyond the oceans, beside the Great Lake. Question again, is this Australia or South America?
I think that's where the South America connection comes into play.
The Nerda was setting up the newborn heaven-earth, and he placed it within an enclosure. C, the newborn heaven-earth will be used primarily to continue gold shipments to Nibiru, and secondarily, when they need it, they can make an escape. Now, at the time of the construction of the secret new facility by the Nerda, Enlil's son, Enki allotted a large domain to his youngest son, Dumuzi. His name was Maluhar, land of the Black Mountains. This land is either in Upper Egypt / Nubia, which is actually south, or in the Indus Valley, extending from what today is northeast Afghanistan to Pakistan and northwest India, which was abundant with trees, waters, cattle, silver, and copper. After the death of Asar, he was favored. Also at this time, the Dumuzi had rekindled an acquaintance. Earlier, he had met Enlil's granddaughter, Inanna, at the dedication of the Artemis Monuments, the pyramids of Giza. I got 2 links right there to Maluhar. The Dumuzi espouses Inanna with the approval of her mother Ningal, her father Nanar, her brother Utu, his father Enki, and his uncle Enlil. Enki and Enlil were in hopes that the union would bring peace between the 2 clans. The Dumuzi's brothers were happy about the espousal, with the exception of Marduk. Marduk was jealous of him. See, Marduk still peed off because they built the pyramid in his old domain, and then the monument was built to Ningashita, so he's still pissed off about that.
You mean the Sphinx? The
Sphinx, yeah.
That's Ningashita's face instead of his.
Yeah.
The petty.
Now
but anyhow.
Yeah. Now you got below that you got some maps that show you where Maluhar was, Magon, Mesopotamia, Elam, and Arata, and it shows you the other civilizations in that area.
Yep, I got it. Makes sense. That makes sense. Okay.
Now let's got 3 more maps below that, so let's roll on down. Come to the excerpt, the conspiracy against the Muzi. In preparation for the betrothal or engagement, it was custom for a sister of the bridegroom to perfume and clothe the bride. The Muzi's sister, Justinana, was sent. Inanna tells Justinana of her ambition. A vision of a great nation I have as a great Anunnaki, the Muzi, that will rise. His name over others shall be exalted. His queen spouse I shall be. Princely status we will share. Rebellious countries we shall together subdue. To the Muzi I will status give. The country I will rightly direct. Justinana tells Marduk what she has heard. And Marduk was disturbed by what he heard and tells Justinana a secret plan / conspiracy.
Conspiracy, right.
She went to the Muzi and told him that she wanted to have a son by him, and that would be a legitimate heir. The Muzi falls for it and lies with her. Then, into her womb, the Muzi poured the semen. By her caressing, he fell asleep. That night, the Muzi had a dream, a premonition of death. In the dream, 7 evil bandits he saw coming into his dwelling. The master has sent us for you, son of Dutur. To him, they said, they chased away his ewes, his lambs, and kids, and they drove away. The headdress of lordship they took off his head, the royal robe off his body they tore. The staff of shepherding they took and broke. His cup from his peg they threw down. Naked and barefooted they seized him. In fetters they his hands bound. In the name of the princely bird and the falcon they left him dying. The Muzi wakes up in the middle of the night, very disturbed, and told Justinana about the dream. She replied, the dream is not favorable. Justinana to the distraught the Muzi said, Marduk of raping me will accuse you. Evil he will send. To try you and disgrace you he will order. The liaison with the Enlilite to disunite. The Muzi sends word to Utu, Inanna's brother, for help, using his father's Enki's name as a talisman, which means a lucky charm. Through the desert of Imush, the snake's desert, the Muzi rushed to escape. To the place of mighty waterfalls from the evildoers he ran to hide. Where the gushing waters, the rocks to slippery smoothness made, the Muzi slipped and fell. The onrushing waters, his lifeless body, and a white frost swept away. Evil emissaries to arrest you. Nenagal, Enki's son, retrieves the body of the Muzi from the waters of the Great Lake. Is this the Indus River or Hakar River near the Arabian Sea? And it places on a stone slab. The next excerpt. All right. Go ahead.
So I just want to make sure I got it right. Now, who have wound up sleeping with whom?
Justinana ended up sleeping with the Muzi.
But that's not who the Muzi was supposed to be marrying, right?
See, it was a conspiracy. She went there and like we said in the hood, she's shout stopping.
Boy, some things just don't change. You mean to tell me he couldn't turn down some stuff?
See, that goes to the beginning of your, what they call that? The bachelor party.
Okay, bachelor party. And no sooner than he finished, his hand had a little dream, and then his nerves gonna get bad.
Yeah. Now he run out trying to get away before they get to him, and end up just having an accident and killed him. He killed himself. Slipped on the rock and bust his head, I guess.
Drama.
See, the Muzi was getting ready to marry Inanna.
Right, Inanna. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Enki agonizes for the Muzi's death. When what had happened, word to Enki was sent. Enki rent his clothes. On his forehead, he put ashes. My son, for the Muzi, he lamented. What have I sinned to be so punished? Out loud he asked. When I to earth from the Biru came, Ea, he whose name, who is water, home is water, was my name. With waters did the celestial chariots obtain their thrust power, and waters are splashed down. Then by an avalanche of waters the earth was swept over. In waters did Asar, my grandchild, drown. By waters my beloved Dumuzi is now dead. Everything I had done for righteous purpose did I do it. Why am I punished? Why has fate against me turned? So that Enki bewail and lament. When from just knowledge the veracity of occurrences was discovered, greater was Enki's agony. Now Marduk, my firstborn, for his deed would also suffer. They claiming he had something to do with it.
Wow. So real quick, what caught me in this excerpt also was when how Enki put ashes on Dumuzi's forehead. So is that where that came from?
No, on his head. He put ashes
okay,
on
he put it
head.
on his own head. So is that where that came from?
Yeah. What? Yeah. Remember in the Bible when something tragic happened, the parent would always put ashes on their head and and put on sackcloth.
So that's where that came from then.
That's where it came from.
Wow. Okay, and I think it's a Catholic term to that too, because some of the Catholics still do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I forget what that term is.
I'll look it up, but go ahead. You could go ahead on, brother.
Tear the lapel or something.
Huh?
I think they ripped their lapel or something like that.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I've heard that part of it.
Yeah. Inanna's reaction to Dumuzi's death. By the disappearance and death of Dumuzi was Inanna worried, then grieved. Then to the lower absolute she hurried. Dumuzi's body for burial to retrieve. When Erishkigal, her sister, of the arrival of Inanna at the precinct's gates was told, Erishkigal, a devious scheme on the part of Inanna, suspected. At each of the 7 gates, one of Inanna's accoutrements and weapons was from her removed. Then, unclothed and powerless before Erishkigal's throne, for scheming and erred by Nagal, Dumuzi's brother, she was accused. Trembling with fury, Erishkigal, to her sister's explanation, would not listen. Let loose against her the 60 diseases, Erishkigal, her advisor, Namtar, in anger ordered. All right, Inanna's rescue and resurrection. By the disappearance of Inanna in the lower Azu, were her parents much worried. Nanan to Enlil in the matter went, Enlil to Enki, a message sent. From Nagal, his son, Erishkigal's spouse, Enki, what had happened learned. From clay of the Azu, Enki, 2 emissaries fashioned. Beings without blood, by death rays unharmed. Hold on, what did they send down there?
Yeah, they said beings without blood. What the heck were they? Robots?
Fuck that, robot or what?
That's interesting.
It's got to be one of 2 things. It's got to be either a robot or an avatar.
We like, yeah, I didn't think about the avatar route. Yeah, could have been an avatar. Okay.
All right, to the lower Azu, he sent them, Inanna to bring back, whether alive or dead. When before Erishkigal they came, Erishkigal by their appearance was puzzled. Are you Anunnaki? Are you earthlings? With bewilderment she asked them. Namtar, the magical weapons of power against them directed, but unharmed the 2 were. To the lifeless body of Inanna he took them, hanging from a stake she was. Upon the corpse, the clay emissaries, a pulsar and an emitter directed. Then with the water of life on her they sprinkled. In her mouth the plant of life they placed. Then Inanna stirred, her eyes she opened. From the dead Inanna arose. When the 2 emissaries, Inanna to the upper world, were ready to return, Inanna, the lifeless body of Dumuzi, to take along them ordered. At the 7 gates of the lower Absu, to Inanna her accoutrements and attributes were returned.
Okay, so, all right, so let me make sure I get this. So, a hit was placed on Inanna, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so she pretty much got taken out, but was it these avatars / robots, we don't know who they were Were they the ones that used the technology to bring her back to life?
Yeah. They the ones used. They went back and got her.
Wow.
They went. See, she gets taken out when she goes to get the music because her sister didn't believe the story that she gave her. So she had her knocked off. So with the 60 diseases, whatever the hell that was.
Right. Some concoction they put together.
So they knowing what's going to happen when they send somebody down there. Enki and them create 2 avatars or 2 robots or whatever it was that will be not susceptible to the whatever they attacked them with. Send them on down there, and they rescued her, and they came out with the body of the Moses.
Okay, so basically that also proves that they had, and I think this isn't this like the second time we've seen in this book that they've resurrected somebody? Yeah. Okay.
Anzu was resurrected. Now this one is resurrected.
That's right, Anzu. Oh, and by the way, I looked it up, and the ash on the forehead is lent, Lent. I thought that was it, but I didn't want to say that. Lent. That's what the Catholics do to symbolize spring. So anyhow, okay, interesting. That's interesting about the avatar or either robots bringing her back to life. Very interesting.
Yeah. I think it would be. I think it's more sensible to conclude that they were avatars.
I once you said avatar, I'm like, I think that's what it was. I'm going to tend to straight agree with you. I think it was avatars. I would agree.
Yeah. All right. To the abode of the Muzi in the Black Land, the lover of her youth to take the emissary she ordered. There to wash him with pure water, with sweet oil him anoint. Then to clothe him in a red shroud, upon a slab of lapis they lay him. Then in the rocks for him a rest place carved out. The day of arising there to wait. Now what did that sound like?
I'm trying to think what this ritual sounds, this burial.
Don't that sound like when they put Jesus in the tomb?
Okay. I can see that. Or no, because the red shroud.
Forget about the color. They put him in a shroud. They lay him up on a slab. Then in the rocks for him a rest place they carved out. And the day of arising there to await.
Oh hell no! I missed the day of arising situation.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm with you. Okay, yes, that sounds exactly like the story of Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. All right. As for herself, to the abode of Enki, another set of steps. Retribution for her beloved's death she wanted. The death of Marduk, the culprit, she demanded. There's been death enough, Enki said. Marduk, an instigator was, but murder he committed not, which is true. Inanna learns that Marduk will not be punished by Enki and goes to her parents and brother Utu. She and Utu joins Enlil's sons at his abode for a council of war. Utu reports secret words exchanged between Marduk and the Ajiji, and Enlil agrees with Inanna, Utu, and his sons, especially Inerta, who argued for strong measures that Marduk, an evil serpent, must be eliminated. The message is sent to Enki, demanding the surrender of Marduk. Enki agrees that Marduk instigated or conspired to kill the Dumuzi, but did not by his own hands commit murder. Dumuzi, but did not by his own hands commit murder. Enki reminds his sons that Marduk is his firstborn and his successor, and therefore must be protected from the murderous gang. Only Jabil and Nergal heeded his call to protect Marduk. Ningashita was opposed, and Nergal agreed to help only if Marduk was in mortal danger. Now they go to war.
So they straight was lining up like, so, okay, as you was reading that, I kind of thought of something too, because the Muzi, he kind of tapped in to Marduk's thoughts and knew that Marduk was going to come after him and kill him.
Yeah, he knew that. But see, he had a dream about it. That's what he dreamed about.
Right. So I'm saying all that to say that even back then, you know, that, you know, they were able to what we call premonitions or whatever. But in the metaphysics world, we just basically say that you're tapping into a vibration to get those particular messages. So he basically saw into the future. He panicked, but that's what that was. But, okay, but that's interesting. I'm sorry, go ahead, brother.
Or you can say he remote viewed.
He remote viewed. He remote viewed into the future. So his old lady wasn't trying to let it go.
Right.
So she went to her people and was like, I don't care nothing about that, because you know how we are. First of all, if he wouldn't have conspired, then Dumuzi wouldn't have jumped up out of his sleep and fled. You know how that story goes. Okay, so I get it. So now they lining up for war.
Yeah, if they go to war. All right, a battle between Anunnaki, the being born among them on another planet, was loose. By Inanna was the warfare begun. In her skyship to the domains of Enki's son, she crossed over. Marduk to battle she challenged. To the domains of Ningal and Jabil she him pursued. To assist her, Ninurta from his storm bird, withering beams at the enemy's stronghold, shot. Ishkur from the skies with scorching lightnings and smashing thunders attacked. In the Apsu, from the river's fish he washed away, cattle in the fields he dispersed. To the north, the place of the artifice mount, Marduk then retreated. Pursuing him, Ninurta on the habitation's poison-bearing missiles rained. His weapons that tears apart the people in those lands robbed of their senses. The canals that the river's waters bore, red from blood became. Ishkur's brilliances, the night's darkness into flaming days converted. Ishkur is the Sumerian god of rain and thunders of the spring. I just had to put that little note in there because I found that out. As the devastating battles northward advanced, Marduk and the Ikor himself ensconced. Jabil forward, an unseen shield, protected force field, devised. Nagal to heaven its all-seeing eye raised. With a weapon of brilliance by a horn directed, Inanna the hiding place attacked. Haran to defend his grandfather came. By her brilliance was his right eye damaged.
Oh, so that's how Horus in the little eye situation got his name.
Yeah.
Oh, now you know it. So family, in case we gone too fast, those of you that know like the story of Horus and the all-seeing eye, and it's you see folks talking about the Illuminati and how they always cover the right eye and the left eye is the prominent all-seeing eye. Now you know where that story came from. He got his eye damaged, the right eye damaged, so meaning his left eye really was his all-seeing eye.
Yeah, makes sense.
And remember, right before that,
very interesting.
The all-seeing eye, when they raised it, put up a force field around that pyramid.
Yes.
All right.
All righty.
Whether it be true or not, that's all we have is what we have. They go your all-seeing eye, and they go the eye of Horus.
Right. That's the story of the Eye of Horus, according to the Lost Book of Enki, which he's saying he got it out of the Sumerian text. Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
All right. Haran to defend his grandfather came. By her bridge was his right eye damaged. While Utu, the Ijiji, and their horde of earthlings beyond Tilmoon held off. At the foot of the Artifice Mount, Anunnaki, this and that clan supporting in battle class. As Marduk has out in the Equal, which is the Great Pyramid, Ninusar/Nedma sends word to Enki to have a brother-to-brother talk with Enlil. She was the peacemaker attempting to stop the war. Inanna was unable. Inanna was unable to effectively attack the Equal because of the force field that Debil had created for it. Her weapons were deflected away from it as she fired upon it. Ninurta finds a secret entrance, a swivel stone on the north side of the Equal. As Ninurta reaches the grand gallery, he notices the ceiling was glitter by the many hue emissions of the crystal. With weapons ready, he waits for Marduk. He then smashes the crystals with his weapons as he goes up the gallery. He was turning out the lights is what he was doing. Marduk moves into the upper chamber, which is the place of the great pulsating stone, which is the king's chamber, and lowers the sliding stones, thus locking himself in the chamber while no one will be able to enter it. Inanna and Ishkur follow Ninurta into the Equal and find that Marduk has locked himself in the upper chamber with no way to exit. Inanna replied, "Let slow death by alive being buried be Marduk's son." Inanna, Ishkur, and Ninurta each let loose the blocking stones for plugging the upper chamber, thereby sealing Marduk in a tomb.
Okay, stop. You can't go no further. We got to discuss that. So basically what you're saying is that Marduk had ran up into one of the pyramids of Giza, right?
He ran up in the Great Pyramid. That's the only one that had the King's Chamber, the Grand Gallery, and the Queen's Chamber.
Okay, so that was the biggest one then.
Yeah.
Okay, so anybody familiar with those pyramids know that they have different chambers, different levels and stuff. So somebody, I guess Ninurta twisted one of the little stones and was able to get up in there, and so they went up in there smashing the crystals. So peep that though, the crystals. So that tells you those pyramids were built with those crystals in it. So peep that. So they went up in there and smashed that up to be like, you won't be using this power. And so What's-Her-Face said, oh, Inanna, so you think you want to run up in here and hide? Guess what? We finna lock your so-and-so up in here. And it's going to be your tomb. So my question is that really where the concept of being buried in the pyramids come from?
Yep.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
But that was not their original purpose.
No.
They were energy centers.
Yeah, that thing was straight. It was straight a energy center and a beacon, like a lighthouse.
Like a lighthouse.
Because they had they when they built the landing corridor which stretched from Mount Ararat all the way to the Great Pyramid, that was the beacon for them to bring in the ships. Because remember, they had to move. They had to set up another spaceport, which was in Till Moon, right there on the north part of the Sinai Peninsula.
Right, after the first one got destroyed by the flood.
Right. It didn't get destroyed. They just had to move everything down. But remember, the landing plate was still intact because that's where they gathered after the flood.
Oh, but it was covered in mud.
No, it was
like that.
No, it was pretty much intact. It wasn't really. It had trees and stuff like that on it, but it was still intact.
Okay.
But everything else, the mission control and all that stuff, it got destroyed. So what they did is move it down a little bit. But they had to build a pyramid because when they normally built a spaceport, it was always between two mountains or two mountain ranges. And they didn't have another mountain range on the other side. That's why they built the pyramid to act as that other mountain range and the beacon.
Okay, so the beacon, can we say, so the light coming out the top, because those pyramids back in the day, at the top of them, the capstone, they said was in gold. And so if the light shot up from them, was the crystals the one providing that light?
We're going to get to that.
Oh, okay. My bad. I ain't finna blow it then. Okay, I'll shut up. Okay.
we're going to get to that piece.
Okay.
All right. Sarpanet, Marduk's spouse, with their young son, goes to Enki, her father-in-law, raising saying that Marduk must be returned among the living. And Enki sends her to Utu and Nanar, who can intercede with Inanna. Question: is this the inner origin of what we know as intercession?
Mm-hmm.
She shows up wearing a garment of atonement. She offers the relinquishment of Marduk's rulership. Is this the origin of priestly garments for this particular scenario?
Yep.
Yeah. Inanna was not impressed and replied, "The instigator must die." Ninasog/Nimrod, the peacemaker, summons Enki and Enlil and tells him that Marduk must be punished, but death is not necessary. She suggests that he be exiled and give up rulership to Ninurta, Enlil's son. Enlil was pleased at her suggestion. Also remember that Ninasog/Nimrod is Ninurta's mother. Enki, with a heavy heart, she played such an important role because she had children on both sides. So she didn't have a choice. She didn't have a choice but to be the peacemaker.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. Enki, with a heavy heart, still grieving Tammuz's death, agrees. Enlil then tells Enki that binding arrangements must be made if peace is to be returned, and lays out his demands. Demand number 1: all facilities that burn heaven and earth must be entrusted to him. Number 2: Enki must appoint another son of his as master over the land of the 2 Narrows. Number 3: the Ajiti must give up and abandon the landing place. Number 4: Marduk must be exiled to a land of no return, inhabited by no descendants of Zah-Sutra. Enki, with his head bowed, agrees. Now, I had something here I remember when all this went down. In the dawn of the planet of the apes, when Cobra, who had been in captivity by the humans and experimented on, with scars to show, was angry and wanted revenge on the humans, he bowed to Caesar, their leader, when he was corrected. See, they play stuff out in the movies that you got to pay attention to. That happened a long time ago. Yeah.
So, I shouldn't be laughing, but this kind of... So, as they out here negotiating and stuff, Marduk is still held up in that pyramid.
Yeah, we're going to get to that.
Okay. I'm just saying.
We're going to get to that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. He appoints Negashita, his son, this is Enki, as master over the lands where the Ekur is located. That land is Egypt, where the Great Pyramid is. Negashita was chosen because he was the designer of the Ekur and would know how to rescue Marduk. And the question is this the first treaty on planet Earth?
That's what it sounds like to me.
That's what Enlil laid out.
And the sad part about it, speaking of treaties, don't we still follow that particular pattern that usually, when is a treaty drawn up? It's usually after war.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting.
All right. Excerpt again. Marduk is rescued. Through a chiseled upper opening, Marduk will be rescued to the leaders. This is Negashita speaking. To the leaders, he said, at a place which I will show them, a doorway in the stones they will cut. From it upward, a twisting passageway they shall bore. A rescue shaft created. Through hidden hollowings to the Ekur's midst they will continue. At the vortex of the hollowings through the stones they will break through. A doorway to the insides they will blow open, thereby the blockings circumventing. Up the grand gallery they will continue. The 3 stone bars they will arise. The uppermost chamber, Marduk's death prison, they will reach. Anunnaki, by Negashita guided, his outlined plan then followed. With tools that cracked the stones, the opening they made. The rescue shaft they fashioned. The insides of the artifice mount they reached. And exit they blew open. Circumventing the 3 blocking stones, the uppermost chamber they reached. On a small platform, the portcullises they raised. Marduk fainted, they rescued. Sophonet with Nabu and Enki were joyful to be reunited with Marduk. Then Enki, his father, discloses the terms of his release. Marduk is enraged and says he would rather die than forfeit his birthright as he shoves Nabu into the arms of Sophonet. She softly reminds him that they are part of his future. And Marduk humbly comes to his senses and yields to his fate. He departs to a land of no return, a place where horned beasts are hunted with his wife and son. That was key right there. A place where
so where was he exiled?
We go get to that too. You go find out.
I'm like, where was he exiled? So you know what? Marduk is a mess. So he rescued him. Then he comes all out of the little pyramid, all dramatic, faint. Oh my God, it was hot in there. Then when he find out the deal, he get an attitude. I brother would have just died. Woo, woo, woo. Oh, I tell you, the drama.
Well, see, you got to remember, way on back, Marduk had a conversation with Enki because he felt like Enki had got the short end of the stick.
From back up in the day, right.
Right. Remember when Enki had to go to the Azu when they cast lots and all this stuff went on with Alelu? See, he was pissed off. He was pissed off when he found out about all that. See that? If you go back and read that conversation that him and Enki is in the note, see, he still peed off about that. All right. Ninurta dismantles the Ekur, or Great Pyramid. After Marduk had departed, Ninurta, the Ekur, through the shaft re-entered and through a horizontal corridor to the Ekur's vulva. Now, we all know what that is, right?
Yeah. Okay.
See, that pyramid has some real metaphysical value.
It's a lot of metaphysical value. Absolutely.
Nobody even talks about that. In its east wall, in a niche artificially fashioned, the Destiny Stone, a red radiance was emitting. Its power to kill me grabs. With a killing tracking, it me seizes. Ninurta inside the chamber cried. Take it away. To obliteration, destroy it. To his lieutenants, Ninurta shouted. Retracing his steps through the grand gallery to the topmost chamber, Ninurta went. In a hollowed-out chest, the heart of the Ekur pulsated. Its net force by 5 compartments was in hand. With his baton, Ninurta, the stone chest struck. With a resonating sound, it responded. Its Goog stone, that direct determined, Ninurta ordered to be taken out to a place of his choice carried. Is this a compass or an accelerometer?
So let me just make sure I'm understanding this properly. So he basically is dismantling all of the metaphysics to the Great Pyramid. So he's taking out the Destiny Stone and a couple of other things out of there. So he was the one that stripped out the metaphysics out of this pyramid.
Yeah, he stripped it out. And that thing that we just talked about, the Goog stone that determines directions, that's got to be a compass or another instrument or accelerometer. You know, you got a link to where you can go look up accelerometer and see what that is.
So my question to you, though, Brother Wendell, why do you think Ninurta stripped it out, and why was he saying that's
don't get to that too.
Oh, okay, my bad. Okay. But now we know that pyramid really did have that stuff in it. Very interesting.
Yeah. All right. So see, when they built that pyramid, remember, Enlil put his hand on the crystal to activate the pyramid.
Wow.
So it was up and running. The one thing about them, they didn't build that without a purpose. Nothing.
Right. They didn't just build it to them just building it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. All right. Coming down the gallery, the Nerda, the 27 pairs of Nibiru crystals examined. Now, hold on. The crystals they put in there were from Nibiru, too.
Right, which would make sense. It would totally make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Many in his fight with Marduk were damaged. Some the struggle intact survived. To remove the whole ones from their grooves, the Nerda ordered. The others with his beam he pulverized. Outside the house, which like a mountain is, the Nerda in his blackbird sword. To the apex stone his attention he turned. His enemy's epitome it represented. With his weapons he shook it loose. To the ground in its pieces it toppled. By this the fear of Marduk is forever ended, the Nerda victoriously declared. On the battleground, the assembled Anunnaki, the praise of the Nerda announced. Like Anu you are made, to their hero and leader they shouted. To replace the incapacitated beacon, a mount near the place of the celestial chariots was chosen. Within its innards, the salvaged crystals were rearranged. Upon its peak, the Goob stone, the stone of direction, was installed. Mount Mashu, Mount of the Supreme Celestial Bars, the mount was called. Links to info on Mount Mashu, the instrument-equipped mount at the post-diluvial Sinai spaceport. I got 2 links right there. All right. So they tore it down and moved it to another site.
So they was afraid. So let me think about this. I ain't gonna guess then. Okay.
We're gonna get it comes later on, but we're gonna get to why they dismantled it.
Yeah, because I got my theory, but I'm gonna hold it. Okay, got you.
Yeah. All right. Enlil's sons reported to lordships, reselling the land, and control issues. At that time, Enlil, his 3 sons summoned. Ninlil and Ninasog also attended. Commands over old lands to confirm, lordships over new lands to assign, they met. To the Nerda, who Anzu and Marduk had vanquished, the Enlilship powers were granted, and all the lands his father surrogate to be. Of the landing place in the Cedar Mountains, lordship to Ishkur was granted. To his domain, northward thereof, was the landing place joined. The land south and eastward thereof, where the Gigi and their offspring had spread. To Nanar, as an everlasting endowment, were given by his descendants and followers to keep and to hold. The peninsula wherein the place of the chariots was, in Nanar's land, was included. Utu, as commander of the place and of the navel of the earth, was confirmed. In the land of the 2 Narrows, as agreed, Enki to Ningashita the lordship did assign. To that, none of Enki's other sons objected. To that, Inanna was opposed. To the heritage of Dumuzi, her deceased bridegroom, did Inanna claim lay. A domain of her own, she of Enki and Enlil demanded. How Inanna's demands to satisfy the leaders contemplated. About the lands and the peoples, the great Anunnaki who the face decree council took. Regarding the earth and its reselling, words with Anu they exchanged. There they go again. They can't make up their mind. They got to call daddy.
Running a daddy, right.
From the time of the deluge, the great calamity, almost 2 shards have passed. So that makes them be on earth 439,200 years.
Wow.
The earthers have proliferated from mountain lands to dry lowlands they went. Of civilized mankind by Zan Sutra, there were descendants. With Anunnaki seed, they were intermixed. Offspring of a Gigi who intermarried, roamed about in the distant lands, Cain's kinfolk survived. Few and lofty were the Anunnaki who from the Nibiru had come. Few were their perfect descendants. How settlements for themselves and for earthlings to establish the great Anunnaki considered. However, mankind lofty to remain, and how to make the many, the few, obey and serve. About all that, about the future, the leaders with Anu words exchanged. To come to earth one more time, Anu decided. With unto his spouse, he wished to come.
Okay, so stop right there. So, oh man, them in this drama. So, earlier on you had broke down where in Leo had basically broke down how the Igigi Nim, which, and just a quick recap for the family, the Igigi were considered the fallen ones, and they were pretty much banished to Mars to serve the Anunnaki. Marduk was ruler over the Igigi. Okay, so when Marduk had decided to marry an Earthling, he had got permission or whatever, and so the Igigi had said, "Oh man, we gonna come to your wedding and kick it." And so basically, a lot of them, I think was it 200 of them, came to Marduk's wedding. I can't remember how many of them. Okay,
yeah.
200.
Yeah, it was
okay,
200.
200, right? Okay, so 200 of them had came to Marduk's wedding. Now, that 200 number is important because that's the same 200 number of the fallen angels that's named in the Bible that had came to earth. Okay?
Wow.
So that's the Gigi Nim. They really coming to Marduk's wedding. They gets to scoping out the Earthlings. Oh man, she look good. Well, if Marduk can marry him, why can't we? And so, and Leo out the gate was against it. He like, no, hell no, they shouldn't be mixing and mingling. This ain't gonna turn out to be nothing but a disaster. Woo woo, this, that, and the third. But they went on ahead as a whole and agreed, meaning the Anunnaki, letting the Igigi mate with the Earthlings. Now, the Earthlings were what we call a test tube babies. They were manufactured. Okay? So the Igigi started marrying or laying up with and having children with the Earthling, which that's where the Nephilim come into play. Okay, and so that's when the whole idea of, plus on top of that, now they didn't so much say it in the Lost Book of Enki. Now I'm going to pull from other ancient texts. So saying, in addition to mating with these earthlings, the Igigi, or AKA the fallen angels, they were also teaching them secrets. So how to work with metals, how to do a lot of the metaphysics stuff. The Earthlings never was supposed to know all of these situations. So they broke those particular laws, okay? So when their children started to be born, all hell, quote, quote, which are the Nephilim, all hell, quote, quote, broke loose, and Earth had got a little wild, and murders and all of that, and because they were test tube babies, so meaning they were manufactured beings, they weren't divine beings. This is Rhonda's 2-cent guessing. As they were mating with the Earthling, it's no telling what type of offspring came out. Some could have came out good, some could have came out just totally off the chain, and that helped with Earth getting crazy, and that's where you hear of accounts in the Bible and other ancient texts where they were eating folks and just causing havoc.
Yeah.
Okay, so in Leo, which is one of Anu's sons, and the rest of the Anunnaki, and it's got all the way back up to Nibiru, they were like, all hell to the no. And so it got all, now this what blew a sister's wig back, y'all. I was thinking that Anu was, quote, quote, the creator. But the Lost Book of Enki said the creator of all. So meaning not Anu, the creator of all was like, oh no, we can't have this. And so that's when the order came from the creator of all to put the flood on earth. Okay, so that's when Noah came into play. And Noah, which blew my wig back again, is really Enki's son.
Yeah.
Because Enki creeped with Noah's mom.
Noah.
Noah. Enki was Noah's son. So that's why Noah turned out looking when he was born. There was a controversy surrounded by his birth, and his dad had ran, his dad, which is Methuselah, ran to his father, which is Enoch, saying, "Man, Dad, what's up? This baby don't look like nothing. He looked like one of the children of the gods." Okay, so Enoch pretty much told him, "Man, he's divine. You know, you're from a good bloodline. His bloodline, your bloodline, will save the rest of the planet." Now, but the real story really was, now that's what the Bible and the rest of the ancient texts say. But what the Lost Book of Enki is saying, Enki had creeped with Noah's mom when Enki sent Methuselah on to some other place.
Yeah, what he did, he sent him up north to learn how to build cities.
Mm-hmm.
He put him on a planet to get him out of the way.
Right. So that's the whole Bathsheba story in the Bible, family.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so that was the controversy surrounding Noah's birth. So long story short, the whole flood situation after the Nephilim, which are the Igigi them kids or children, had started all this drama on the planet. The creator of all said that bloodline needs to be wiped out. They got to be gone. Anunnaki, prepare to leave Earth. They gave them a choice. Do you want to stay or do you want to evacuate? So some evacuated, some Igigi evacuated back to Mars, some in Anunnaki evacuated back to Nibiru, and then the ones that stayed on Earth help like gather all of the genetics so they could start life back over through cells and stuff, through DNA, and they cataloged all that stuff and they brought it on the ark with Noah in them.
Yeah.
So that's the dynamics, family, of what we're dealing with the Igigi them, and why in Leo, when he went down his list of stuff that's wrong, was putting it all back on the Igigi. So he was basically saying, had the Igigi not brought their asses down here and started mating, we wouldn't even be in this situation. Since they came down here, we didn't have folks murdered, the little planet had to be wiped out, woo, and we get up off the boat, and the water subsided, and pretty much what he's saying, we discovered some of these bastards still living.
Wow.
And they starting back up again. So that's where we are now, family. So I did want to bring that all in perspective so you could get a clear picture of why this battle keeps going on within the Anunnaki and the Igigi. Okay, Brother Wendell.
All right, now we're in the 12th tablet.
Whew. So
we got a real important point right here.
Okay, so then let's get to the point then.
All right. Anu decided to come to Earth one more time.
This like his third time coming, ain't it?
With his wife Antu accompanying him.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have to say that again?
With his wife Antu accompanying him.
Let's go back to something we discussed way on down the road when we were talking about the celestial battle. Who you think who was actually running the operation? Now she got to come down and see what the hell going on.
So you think Mama was the one?
Mama was running the damn show.
As we always do, behind the little scene.
The kicker is this. She ain't raising hell about what she doing. Everybody know who running it. Because when shit get out of hand, she got to come down here.
Mama got to come clean it up.
So, women, they show you how you need to be operating. Let your man do what the hell he's supposed to do. We know who's supposed to be running things.
We just, but I mean, come on, y'all. Let's be real. Let's break that down. Let's be real here. In the melanated households, we know pretty much that the woman, we run things, but it's the way you. Okay, ladies, let me break something down for you. It's the way that you run it. You don't be boastful about it. You just sit back. You be supportive. Yeah, babe, such and such. So, well, what about this? But you basically still running it. But that's a very good catch, Brother Wendell. So she basically had to come down with her husband because they have just totally shown they natural melanated asses at this point.
Yeah, and see, they know when Mama come down here, ain't nobody finna be cutting up.
Right.
Not while she here. It ain't going down like that. It is not going down like that.
This is her first trip down, right?
And her last trip. She went. You know how Mama them do it. No, maybe come in there. You know what I'm saying?
You gonna make me sit up and interrupt my day-to-day schedule over your bull crap?
Oh, geez.
And two, this thing, I haven't heard anybody point it out, but it's right there before. In all the where you see at the temples, where you got the man and the woman sitting there, he is always at her right side. Now, is that the origin of Jesus being seated by the right hand?
By the right hand man. That's deep.
He's always sitting by her right side. Always.
That's interesting. That
just gives you something to think about.
Just like they have the when they have the particular statues standing up of the couples, they always have the woman with her hand on his back, meaning that she has his back. She is his support system. Very interesting. That's a damn shame. You know, they didn't show they ass when Mama got to come down. That don't make no sense.
Yeah, she got to come down
and see from another galaxy. Because they don't know how to damn act.
She got to point somebody to watch over the Heru.
Right.
She come down here and see what's going on.
Right. Gotta leave my damn own house. To come all the way across the galaxy because y'all don't know how to act right.
Yeah. Oh, but check this out. Watch the treatment she get though. Watch this right here.
We gotta listen to. We gotta hear this. Because I want to see how she sets it off.
All right. Okay. Anu decided to come to Earth one more time with his wife Antu accompanying him. In the interim, the Anunnaki began to reestablish their colonies. Also, the Shemites, descendants of Shem, the son of Zalsutra/Noah, migrated to the old lands from the mountain lands. At this time, they were called the black-headed people. The new Eridu was marked out on top of the mud and silt left by the deluge, where Enki's first city, Eridu, was located. Enki and Enki's abode was built in the center of the new Eridu, and they called it House of the Lord, whose return is triumphant. Decked with gold, silver, and precious metals, it was decorated by Enki's sons. Number 1, above in a circle pointing to the sky, the 12 constellations were marked out. Below, like in the Azu, waters flowed with fish. Is this reference to Pisces on the zodiac?
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. Number 3, Enki kept the me formulas in a sanctuary, a place where uninvited could not enter. Enlil and Ninlil built their new home at the old location of Nibruki, where a sacred precinct was walled off. It was built in 7 stages, and a stairway led to the top platform as if it were rising to heaven. There, he kept the tablets of destinies protected by his weapons. The lifted eye that scans the lands, the lifted beam that penetrates all. Is this the description again of the all-seeing eye? Enlil parked his skybird or his spacecraft in the courtyard. As they awaited the arrival of Anu, they selected a new place, UnCONPromeyezed, the delightful place it was named. It was a pure white structure, and in the midst of the house of Anu was built. It was also built in 7 stages, and its interior was like a king's quarters. When Anu's celestial chariot arrived, Anunnaki skyships greeted and escorted Anu's ship for a safe landing at the place of the chariots, which is in Tilmoon, which is right there on the Sinai Peninsula, where the commander, Utu, the great-grandson of Anu and Antu, welcomed his great-grandparents. Tilmoon is located on the 30th parallel due east of Giza, on the northwest section of the Sinai Peninsula. Right today, that Sphinx is looking at that location.
Interesting.
It faces due east. It's looking right at it.
Wow.
It's looking right at the spaceport that used to be there.
Very interesting.
Yeah. All right, Anu's family reunion on Earth. The 3 children of Anu, Enlil, Enki, and Menasau, stood there to greet them. They embraced and kissed. They laughed and cried. So long had the separation been, they to each other kept saying. At each other they looked, aging to examine. Though greater in charge were the parents, younger than the children they looked.
Damn.
Wow.
Hey, it's going to be a trip when we get to this thing to figure out the time on Earth compared to that of Nibiru. It's something else.
So are they saying, I just want to make sure, I don't want to put words up in the book's mouth. So the grandparents, the parents looked younger than their children.
Yep, that's what it says.
Yeah, because I'm going to put it to you like this. Remember back when we asked the question, well, how long is a month on Nibiru compared to Earth? See, the Earth orbits faster than Nibiru, which means they were aging faster. That's what was going on.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right. The 2 sons looked old and bearded. Menasau, once a beauty, was bent and wrinkled. All 5 of them with tears were filled. Tears of joy with sorrow, tears were mingled. And skyships were the guests and their hosts to the Eden taken. In a prepared place beside UnCONPromeyezed, the skyships landed. All the Anunnaki that on Earth had stayed as an honor guard were standing. Hail and welcome, in unison to Anu and Antu they were shouting. Then in a procession, singing and music playing, the Anunnaki to the house of Anu, the guests accompanied. In the house of Anu, Anu washed and rested. Then he was perfumed and clothed. Antu, by female Anunnaki, to the house of the golden bed was escorted. There she too washed and rested. Then she was perfumed and clothed. In the open courtyard, as an evening breeze, the tree leaves rustled. Anu and Antu on thrones were seated. Flanking them were Enlil and Enki and Menasau, attendants, earthlings who were completely naked, wine and good oil served. Others in a corner of the courtyard, a bull and a ram, gifts of Enlil and Enki on the fire were roasted. A great banquet was for Anu and Antu prepared. For the sign in the heavens, its start was awaiting. On Enlil's instructions, Zumu, who in matters of stars and planets was learned, the steps of the house of Anu ascended the rising of the planet at eventide to announce. Zumu was an astronomer priest in Uruk during Anu's visit. On the first step, Kishar in the eastern skies appeared. Lahamu, or the second step, was seen. Mumu on the third step was announced. Anshar by the fourth step rose. Lamu on the fifth step was seen. The moon from the sixth step was announced. Then on a signal from Zumu, the hymn, the planet of Anu in the sky's rise, began to be sung. For from the topmost step, the seventh, the red halo Nibiru into view came. To music, the Anunnaki clapped and danced. To music, they danced and sang. To the one who grows bright, the heavenly planet of the Lord Anu, they sang. On the signal, a bonfire was lit, seen from place to place where the bonfire started. Before the night was over, the whole land of Eden was with bonfires lit. After a meal of bull meat and ram meat, of fish and fowl, with wine and beer accompanied. Anu and Antu to their overnight quarters were accompanied. By Anu and Antu were all the Anunnaki thanked. For several earth days and nights, Anu and Antu slept. On the sixth day, his two sons and daughter, Anu summoned. After the family reunion festivities, Anu and his spouse, Antu, slept for 5 days and nights. On the sixth day, Anu summoned his three children, Enki, Enlil, and Nenosar. They are telling their father of all the events that had taken place on earth. 3 points they emphasized were peace and war, how Enlil by oath wanted to destroy the earthlings, and they had proliferated or grew in number again, and the discovery of gold in the land beyond the oceans and the chariot placed there. Enki tells his father about the dream and the tablet from Galzu. Again, is this Gabriel the messenger? Anu informs his children that he never sent an emissary by that name.
What?
Enki and Enlil were puzzled, and Enki let Anu know that because of Galzu, Zah-Sutra/Noah and the seed of life were saved. Enlil points out that Galzu had told them if they returned to Nibiru that they would die, therefore causing them to have to stay on earth.
Wow.
Anu assured his children that was no longer the case. There was a cure for the changes of life cycle. Remember when Nigashita and Dumuzi were sent to Nibiru with a Doppler, Dumuzi had to stay for a while longer than Nigashita was sent back with a Doppler. And at that time, tests were performed on Dumuzi. Also, this was the first time Anu had seen his grandson because they were born on Earth. See, Dumuzi, they ran tests on Dumuzi to find out what was going on with him.
Right. So since that time, they done found cures, basically.
They done put together a concoction that'll cure that age. Now Enki and Enlil asked Anu, who sent Galzu, if he didn't.
Right.
Who wanted to save the earthlings and who made us stay on Earth? Was their question to Anu. Nenosar was the first to acknowledge that the creator of all had sent Galzu.
Okay, so it's Gabriel.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Nenosar was the first to acknowledge that the creator of all had sent Galzu. All 4 of them were quiet as they recounted the events. Then Anu responds saying that while we decree fate, destiny directed every step. So now what they're acknowledging right here is that the creator of all sent Galzu, not Anu.
Right. Which is Gabriel.
No,
Galzu is Gabriel.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Galzu
that's what
is
I'm saying. Yeah, Galzu is Gabriel, the creator of all. Sent them.
Yeah. Now, let's do this one more thing before we cut it off. Anu reveals to his children their true mission on Earth.
Ooh.
The will of the creator of all is clear to see. On Earth and for earthlings, only emissaries we are. The earth to the earthlings belongs. To preserve and advance them, we were intended. If that is our mission here, Let us accordingly act. So did Enki say.
Whoa.
Now here is Anu referencing and reverencing the creator of all.
The creator of all. Right. So Anu is not the creator of all.
There you go. He said it himself.
Because he didn't even know that Galzu was sent down and gave his son instructions on what to do.
Right.
That's deep. So my question to you, and before we open up the phone lines, when they were celebrating and they were talking about the stairs and they were naming the different planets in our solar system, right?
Yep.
Now, were they, as he was naming the planets, was he saying that the planets appearing?
The planets were lining up and showing up.
That's what I thought. I just didn't want to put no words up in the book's mouth. So as they were announcing the planets and the names that he called out, family, those are the ancient names of the planets, because I do know that Lamu is Mars. So the rest of them I can't think. I will have to go back and pull out my text to name down what is what. And so as he was calling out the planets, they was just lining up, paying homage to Anu and Antu, visiting their solar system. And so then the last one was Nibiru that shined. Is that right?
That's right.
And they described it as red. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. I didn't want to put words up in the little book's mouth. So, whew. Okay. So let's open. Go ahead.
Let's point out something real quick. You see how they conducted themselves when Mama came down. They built Mama and Dad a house.
Yeah, built the house. Everybody was cooperative. Let them sleep for 5, 6 little days, all of that. Everybody was on their best behavior.
Yeah.
Big Mama stepped
in. Big Mama had to come down and be like, okay, I wish y'all would. I wish you would.
Yeah. See, they even knew who was running things.
That's it.
They knew who was running things. They had to get their tails. Get in line.
Because the other 2 times that he came down, they were still bickering, and he had to, make arrangements to try to keep the peace, and they still wasn't happy.
Yeah.
Big Mama's like, now act a fool while I'm standing
Exactly. It's all she did was give them that look. I wish you would.
She ain't got to say nothing. She just being here. Just being here. They knew what to do. We can't be cutting up with Mama down here. All of us will get a beat.
Dang. But the fact that Anu didn't even order Galzu to come down and give Nair instructions. And then Ningasal was the one was like, oh, well, yeah, the creator of all sent him.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yep.
And Galzu is Gabrielle.
Yep, and we're just guessing that's Gabrielle.
We just guessing because we ain't been able to confirm that, but that's all the one he could be.
Right.
Because Gabrielle was the messenger.
Yep.
Or is the messenger.
Or is the messenger, right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, well, we're going to open up the phone lines. Hold on a second. Okay, so if you have a question or comment, press *6 to get in the queue. So *6 to get in the queue if you have a question or comment. Okay, so let's go with 256. Okay, they lining up tonight. Okay, 256. Okay, 256, your line is open.
Yes, this is 256. How you doing?
Hey, sis.
Gonna call out my name last week, and I was still pondering what the heck connection did she make. I was still scratching my head. But anyway.
I think I was trying to tell you that sis Lioness, she is having her Saturday and Wednesday shows. So I was just sending you a shout out to check the Facebook page to get the dial-in information.
Hey, Sis Divinity, how you doing?
I'm better. How are you?
Terrific. I love you, Wendell.
Yeah, I love you, Amira.
Anyway, the first question I had was when you were reading the news, Rhonda, and you said you were reading the news article about orders done online, and there was something the article had stated, and you were saying, like, who does that make sense to? What was that about?
What orders was done online?
Remember the news article you were reading, and in the article it was stating about the ones who order online versus...
okay. Remember, excuse me, sis. Remember you were talking about how they were trying to say that the orders that were being placed as opposed to the ships that were delivering orders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that was about the shipping, Amir. Yeah. So what they behind's gonna sit up and try to, first of all, the article, the point of the article was that the shipping is down. So the shipping of goods from overseas coming into the ports is down. So then they tried to clean it up and say, but really the reason that that's happening is because people are ordering from online versus walking into the stores. And then that's when Brother Wendell and I was like, that's a bunch of crap. What difference do it make if I'm ordering online or walking into the store? I still need the damn goods from overseas. So that's what we were talking about.
Oh, yeah. I went into the store last night, and boy, they had it stocked. I mean, fresh. Everything is flowing. I think they want the appearance for people, especially coming up, Monday is Labor Day, and maybe there'll be some cooking out or whatever, and they want the people to have the appearance that everything is fine. The stores are stocked and running over. But anyway, I thought that was very interesting. When you order online, I happened to order a couple weeks ago, and I ordered some crackers. They are so stale. You know, when you open the box and then you open the little thing the crackers are in, and you reach in to take a cracker out, and it crumbles in your hand. What does that say?
So it's been sitting in the warehouse for quite some time.
Yeah.
Yep. So my question tonight was, you had mentioned about remember the flood, and then they did the DNA. However, they collected those items to put in the ark. Did they go into the ark with Noah, the ones that did the collecting?
Oh, yeah. They didn't go. I thought they did go.
No. Remember, Enki and Enki, Enlil, Nenostar, and some more of them, they hovered above earth while the flood was going on.
Oh, yeah, and those crafts.
Okay.
See,
my bad. I missed that again.
See, they stayed. See, that's what they call staying. They stayed, and they got in their aircraft, and they just hovered above earth while the flood was going on until they could come down and land.
I totally missed that. So they had the DNA and material up there with them in a little spacecraft.
No.
So that went on the ark with Noah.
Remember, they put that on the ark with Noah.
Okay, so I assumed that when they put that on the ark with Noah that they stayed too, but they went in the aircraft and hovered above. Okay, well, I totally missed that part.
Yeah, because remember, after they found out that the water had subsided enough, you know, Noah sent out the bird and whatnot, and then when they landed, they saw, and Noah had built the altar, and they were burning an offering, and they went over there, and that's when Israel found out that they had survivors.
The Cain, which was Cain's descendants.
Well, first it was Noah now because he was mad at Enki, and Enki told him that was his son.
Right. And wasn't the offering that Noah burnt was the offering to his father Enki?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also,
and then after that, the descendants of Cain, they found out they
found them over in the mountain somewhere. Yeah. Okay.
Also, the Anunnaki, the test tube babies, where we come in.
You didn't listen to the call. When we went over when I showed them on the genealogy chart that we came through Shem, the people of the spaceship.
Okay, so far that may have been one of those brief moments I drifted off.
Yeah.
Amir straight. I ain't never known nobody that come on somebody's show. Yeah, I may have been asleep during that part.
I have been reviewing the chart. I have been reviewing it, and I see the line, but I just don't see where we come in our creation. I see the chart, how you have the chart laid out, but I don't see our creation. I understand the test tubes babies, how they came about.
Mm-hmm.
But when did we come into existence? With Noah?
Adapa and TT.
Mm-hmm.
So when Noah had his family, we came through him?
If before Noah, Adapa and TT.
Adapa and TT, see, when Adapa and TT came about, they sent, or Anu sent for them to bring Adapa up to Nibiru. That's when he named us mankind, because he told them that is mankind, Adapa. So after that, all the children came, all the other lines came. Noah was born, and then Shem was born, and then through the line of Shem came all the way down to the 12 tribes.
Okay, one last question, and what was it? It had to do with the Anunnaki. Okay, so they've decided Earth is for us, and they are only here to oversee. So that's how now we are here, and they respect our sovereignty over Earth, and they are now here to clean up the remains of the Anunnaki that went bad with the Earthlings. Thank you. I'll keep listening. I yield.
All right. Thanks, Sis Amir.
Let me say something to what you just said. It's going to get gooder than that.
I hear you. Just get gooder and gooder.
Well, that's going to be interesting because that's what we heard Anu say, but it's going to get interesting because we know some drama finna jump off. So, okay.
Speaking of the tribes, was Dan considered fallen angel?
I would have Dan, the tribe of Dan. I would have to go back, and you could go and look.
The 12 tribes come through Shem.
Okay, the 12 tribes came through Shem.
Yeah.
And Dan is the one that they never mentioned. Okay, let me do some research on that.
Yeah, and I would have, again, you would have to go back to that genealogy.
Go back and look at the chart. The chart.
I didn't want to steer her wrong because I can't remember all of the names that they listed on that chart, but it's there.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that link that you sent me right there. Okay.
Yeah, I sent you those emails. I sent you 2 emails with part 1 and part 2. So we're in part 2, but you'll see the genealogy chart.
Okay. All right. Got it.
All right, so we're going to go with 313. Let me open your line. Okay, 313, I think your line is open.
How's everyone this evening?
We are well.
Good.
How are you, beloved?
Oh, thank you. I have a couple questions. I was trying to get on Tuesday's call, and for some reason I didn't have the right number.
Well, good thing you didn't, because we didn't wind up having a call this Tuesday. So I didn't put the promo out for it. So we're going to gear up for this coming up Tuesday. Now, I'm not sure if you know that Tuesday's call won't be what we're doing now. It's going to be for Behold a Pale Horse.
Right.
Okay. So, no, it just wasn't you.
Okay, the problem is I'm not on Facebook, so I can't get the information.
Okay. So, yeah, we apologize. We postponed it until next coming up Tuesday because we wanted to do a little bit more prepping.
Okay, will it be on this same number?
Yes, it'll be on the same number.
Okay, I have this number. Okay. Second question. How would I get a copy of the notes?
I have been asking people to hit me up via Facebook. So I'm assuming you don't have access to the internet or anything?
Well, I'm not on Facebook right now.
Okay.
Hey, Rhonda, get his email and send it to him, and I'll email it to him.
Okay. Well, I'll have to write your number down, brother, because I didn't necessarily want you, shouting out your email over the airwaves. So can I take down your number?
Yes, that'll be fine.
Okay, and then we'll just call you to get your email. And whom am I speaking with?
This is Rudy.
Okay, all right, Mr. Rudy. Okay, well, either Brother Wendell or myself will call you to get your email to send you the notes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, brother. Nice call. Okay, and then our last caller is a VoIP call, so let me open the line. Your line is open, brother.
Hey, sister. How you doing? This is Brother Fred. How y'all doing?
Good evening, beloved. We're well.
I must be the only one that called in on VoIP, huh?
Yeah, and it shows up, and I don't like to say people's name. I always say VoIP and let you identify yourself or not identify yourself.
I thought I put my name in there so you can see it, but maybe I didn't.
Yeah, you did, but I usually don't say it because I don't know if people want to be called out like that on the air. So
it's okay. Hope everybody's doing well this evening. This is an off-brand question because I got on the call late, but I know y'all still gave out good information. I think I thought I had sent an email from the Facebook page. Is there any way to get to the archives of these calls?
Yes, you can get to them via YouTube.
Okay, so then...
Yeah, all of our calls are on YouTube under Truth Uncompromised.
Okay. Then I can just link to that. So I can subscribe to that, and then I'll see most of all those calls.
Yeah, if you subscribe to it, you'll get them all.
Yeah. Okay. All right, and that was my only question, because I know, when I get on late, I like to go back and hear what y'all talked about, in the first opening segments. But that's usually during the hamburger time, so it's hard to listen to.
We get it, brother.
Hey, you can also get the notes if you want them.
Oh, I got the notes, brother. I appreciate that.
Oh, okay. All right.
I got the notes. I told her to give you my email. so that you would at least email me and then we would start up something offline so I wouldn't, say a couple things that shouldn't be said.
Yeah.
So I'll go back through and see if
the first
and
caller
give
for
it
the
to
mirror
him.
always beats.
Oh yeah, Amira be quick on the draw.
She waiting right there. I said, I'm gonna beat Amira tonight, honey. I'm gonna beat Amira. So I push it real quick. Next thing I heard that. That's it. Dang.
Yeah, Amira.
She must push it yesterday.
Yeah, she know how to get in that cue ball and get her little points across.
Well, I ain't falling asleep though.
I know. And see, she got the nerve to come on. Yes, I kind of missed that part. I kind of dozed off. I'm like, she a hot mess. How you gonna go on somebody's show and say, yeah, can you clarify that I was asleep?
I just go ahead and say, I missed the call. I didn't hear the call.
Oh boy, I know. We just love her though. Well, okay then, brother. Right. Well, I'll go back and get your email and send it to Brother Wendell also.
I appreciate it. Wait a minute. You got a question? Huh? Oh, I asked her. You were asleep. My wife will be asking I just supposed to ask her about the archive calls. I'm like, no, you sleep.
So she's going to wake up and ask you, did you ask?
Stop pointing her finger.
Oh, y'all are a mess. All right, brother. Okay, all right. Okay, brother, peace and love. Okay, family, that was the last call. So we are going to wind down. So, Sister Divinity, did you have any last words for the family?
Well, it's good to be back, and hopefully I'm off of my vacation.
As Brother Wendell so rudely states.
Okay, and as always, it's been a pleasure listening to Wendell bring that, because it is, I'm learning as I listen. It's really amazing. So I just want to thank everyone for tuning in.
All right. Brother Wendell, you have any last words for the family?
Yeah, we got a little bit more to go. We're gonna get to over on this side on the next call.
Okay. Well, very, very, very interesting. Once again, I do want to thank you. As usual, just the events of what kind of blew my mind back was two things. The first one was they validated what was actually in that pyramid. And I can't wait to get to are we going over any other thing regarding that pyramid?
No, because we're going to get to what happened over here.
Oh, okay. So, that was interesting to know about the crystals and the different stones and their purposes and how they dismantled them. So that backs up what pretty much all of our master teachers said, that pyramid, number one, they are lying when they say that the pyramids are used for a tomb. Okay, so, according to the Lost Book of Enki, that is furthest from the truth, those pyramids. And the crystals they brought from Nibiru to put in those pyramids to do a special purpose. So that blew my wig back. And then the fact that Mama had to come all the way from another galaxy to get they behinds up in order.
Yep, I'm telling you.
Because they continues to show they behind. So that kind of blew my wig back when Brother Wendell kind of pointed out that Mama all along was the one that's the glue to the family, so to say. And everybody was nicey nice. And then the other part of how them planets lined up upon their visit.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very interesting stuff tonight. I do want to thank you again. And real quick, I shared this with some folks on Facebook that's connected to me, and I do have a point to this. I was recently turned on to watch a Netflix series called The Get Down. And that particular series is pretty much talking about the start of hip-hop back in the 70s. And it is pretty accurate. It's in New York, how hip-hop started in the Bronx. It has a very good flair to it. It's very historical, accurate from the clothes on down to all of that. Plus, Nas is one of the executive producers. So I'm really, really watching this show. I'm digging it from the hip-hop scene. And then all of a sudden, Nas starts dropping these Moors clues in the episodes, and I was just sitting there cracking up. Then, and Will Smith's son, Jaden, is in there, and Jaden is the one that keep dropping little metaphysic hints. And I'm like, y'all clowning up in this. I'm getting it. Y'all dropping it here and there. And because of those of us that study this, we're going to pick this stuff up in this show, right? The average person is not going to pick it up. So I'm sitting there, of course, really digging this show. Beyond them dropping the metaphysics stuff, I'm still digging the show. So they have this one scene where these two characters are on the roof, and one of the characters had one of them pigeon cages, and so he lets the pigeons out. And so the camera zooms up to the sky. Why did they have the sun and captured there was Nibiru?
Really?
I backed it up. I said, you got to be effing me. I said, I couldn't have seen where. I said, let me make sure there wasn't a sun flare. Backed it up, stopped it. Sure enough, I saw where the sun flare was, plain as day. The sun, and right above the little sun, to the right, you saw a red dot representing Nibiru. I'm like, oh my God. Just like any of the other, if you go YouTube videos and you see where people are capturing in the sky next to the sun, this red planet, and they caught it on film in this particular scene, and they must have known what they caught because they zoomed up 2 or 3 times again. And I'm like, okay, they keep zooming up here to see if people are paying attention. And then in another scene, it was a night scene, they showed the moon, and then they showed another planet next to the moon, a blue planet. And I just I chuckled to myself. I said, oh, they clowning in this series. So I'm saying all that to say it is a good series nonetheless. It would be nice for the family to support the effort. It's a great half documentary / drama. It's really, really good. And they're dropping a little bit of metaphysics throughout. And Nas is one of the executive producers on it. So that's Netflix, a Netflix series called The Get Down. So with that said, I'll get off that rant. I want to thank you, Brother Wendell, again for bringing it. So next Tuesday, family, we will hold on tarot reading. We are going to do the first show on Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper. We apologize for not doing it this past Tuesday. We just felt we weren't ready, so we wanted to give ourselves another week. So we do all of our promos via Facebook. So pretty much if you don't see it on Facebook, then people know we're not going to have a show. So apologize for those of you that weren't on Facebook and did not get the message that we weren't going to be on Tuesday. So with that said, we'll be back Divinity at Night Tuesday, tarot reading at 7 o'clock p.m. for Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper. That'll be our first review of that book. And then, of course, we'll be back next Thursday to get back into the Lost Book of Enki. So with that, family said, we want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. It has been a wonderful show as always. We thank you for your love and support. And I want to thank Brother Wendell for really doing a hell of a job with the Lost Book of Enki, because just when you think you know, it's like, what? Wait a minute, stop, say that again. So you're really doing an outstanding job, brother, and I will never look at the creation of the Bible as far as the beginning, the story of Noah. I'll never look at any of that stuff the same. So I'm really interested to see how far this book will take us into the biblical stories as well as some of the other ancient myths. Mm-hmm. So with that said, family, we're going to sign off with peace, love, truth, freedom and justice, one heart, one mind, and one spirit. And with that, we say nightfall. Love you very much. We're going to rock out with the Mothership Connection tonight, family. Oh, there it is. I know. You know everybody's going to stay on the jam, right? Okay. Since Nibiru showed up in a little Lost Book of Enki, we got to play the Mothership song tonight. So nightfall, family. We love you very much. Love you.